We are here. We are here. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It is I, it's Matt, the Southern Gooner. Shout out to Shane for the morning raid from over at the buffet. Hope that you all went over and supported Shane this morning. Thank you for everybody who's popped in here. As you come in, make sure you hit that like button so we can get this video up the totem pole. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you all today. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this and let some of you all know. Bear with me on some of these clips. As we all know, StreamYard has been acting up. It's actually starting with me early this morning, but we're going to push through. We're going to persevere because this has to get out today. We're going to start off here. First off, I want to make sure everybody can hear me well. Make sure everybody can hear me well. Also, if at any point I play the audio clips or whatever, you don't hear it, just let me know. Put it in the chat, and then that way I'll know. Everything's good. Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Make sure we all good, set, ready to roll. If you can hear me, put a 1. Okay, we got 1s in the chat, so all is well. All right, we're gonna open up this. We're gonna open up this dissection with the video here that's kind of gone viral a couple of weeks ago, which kind of prompted me to start this whole ordeal. And we're gonna open up with this, and then we're gonna move around. We're gonna move around. We got a lot of ground to cover, so y'all sit back and enjoy yourselves. And let's get this up and rolling here.
Shane, you're going to be surprised. I need to take this phone call. Miguel, love all this.
I hope I am. I hope I'm proved wrong because I'm an Arsenal fan. I hope I'm proved wrong. I hope we win the league. I hope we win the Champions League. I'm an Arsenal fan. True and true. I hope I'm proved wrong. If I'm proved wrong, then it's win-win for me. But I won't be. I know I won't be. I've just seen too much with this manager. I know it's going to go tits up next season. I know it's going to go tits up next season.
I hope I'm wrong. I think you're looking at worst case scenarios in every single aspect.
Maybe so, but it's because of PTSD.
You've mentioned players you've mentioned every single player you mentioned worst case scenario. Not one thing that you mentioned positive.
Because I've seen it. I've seen it happen time and time again with this manager.
You know what it is? You've been an Arsenal fan for a long time. Look at what you got behind you. I'll tell you right now, that is the main reason. You're just being beaten down by the club. You don't have any.
No. Because I've had wonderful memories of this club. I've had wonderful memories. It's this manager. I've had. Don't tell me about my. I've had wonderful memories with this club. Wonderful memories. This is the lowest point that I've ever been as an Arsenal fan. The lowest point I've ever been.
How long have you been supporting Arsenal, my
brother? Nearly 40 years.
And you're saying this is the lowest point.
This is the lowest I've ever been as an Arsenal fan. I'm not the only one that says it. DJB says it. Jezza says it. Aaron says it. A lot of us say it. The lowest I've ever been. Because I can see
finishing second in the league.
I don't care about second. We ate so.
Now you see this. This is a textbook top Gooner tactic right here. He asked a simple question. He said, "Oh, what Shane said, well, this is the lowest I felt supporting the club." How did that have to do anything with second place? He goes all the way down to second. Then he talks about, oh, well, the club is beating you down. Well, I guess the club would have beaten you down considering that you finished second 3 times in a row. You hadn't bought one world-class player in 6 years. And then on top of that, you hadn't won a cup since you won the FA Cup. That's eons ago now. You can't even, top Gooners cannot even bring up the FA Cup anymore. That was their bread and butter. That was their bread and butter. They used to always go, well, he's only won the FA Cup 2 years ago. 1 year ago. He just won it. He just won it. Now all of a sudden, he's going, oh, well, second place. You've been beat up. But don't worry. We're gonna let this roll on.
Because everyone else fell off. If City hadn't fallen off, if Newcastle hadn't had a bad start, we wouldn't have finished second. It means nothing, Igal finishing second. The way we finished second, We threw away leads from 10 matches. We drew 14
Brother,
games. We played
when
awful
Ian Wright
football.
joined Arsenal, and he was carrying us for the first couple of years, where were we as a team?
We won 2 cups in '93.
Where were we as a team?
What do you mean, where were we as a team? We were a better team than we are now. Of course we were. We were winning shit, man. We were winning shit. You weren't around then. You don't know. We were winning shit. That team would piss all over this one. That back four would piss all over.
Did y'all hear the keyboard? Did you hear the keyboard just then? Hold on, we're going to go back. See, y'all got to learn how to catch these jokers. Go back right quick. I want y'all to listen. Turn your volume up. Turn your volume up. If you're in your car, crank it up to 100. Listen to these keys tap as Shane's talking.
We were winning shit. That team would piss all over this one. That back four would piss all over this.
Yeah. He's trying to find what he's looking for. He's trying to find what he's looking for. So I want y'all to watch what comes next. See, I catch everything. I can't help it. I'm a Virgo. I happen to catch everything. I can't help it. It just comes with nature. But you heard the keys tapping. You heard him? You heard the keys tapping. You heard that. He's trying to go look and see. So then let's continue on. Watch.
When Ian Wright's a better striker than we've had under Arteta. What are you saying?
Did you hear it? You heard it again? Did y'all hear it again? Y'all heard the click, click, click. Click, click, click. Y'all hear that? Click, click, click.
That back four would piss all over this. When Ian Wright's a better striker than we've had.
Look at it right there. Right there. He's typing. Right there. Right there. Look at that look. He's typing right there. He's trying to figure out what he wants to come back this with because he knows that what Shane is saying is the truth. Don't worry. I have the receipts. I have the receipts. Because he knows what he's saying is true. All right. Because Shane has supported the club for quite a long period of time. I've supported the club for quite a long period of time. And anybody that's been doing it for a while, hell, we've even got people that's in their 20s saying this is the worst they've seen it. Because there's no way you can explain the amount of money we've spent, which we'll talk about that in a little while too. That'll be a little later on. We'll talk about money that's been spent, and then you're going to have people come out and they're telling you, "Oh well, we're fine with where we are. We should be satisfied with second 3 times in a row." Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What are you saying? That makes no sense. We won in Europe the next season after that in '94. We won the league in '98. We did the double. We won the league in '91. How could
he's scrolling? Look at it. He's scrolling. He's looking. He's on Wikipedia. You know what he's doing? Look at him. He's trying to figure it out. Because if a person had something to stand on, they would have came right back with it. But watch this. Look at the delay. Look at the delay in time it takes for him to come back.
You say that it's worse. We were much better off.
You're saying this is worse than when Arsenal.
See, he's found something. So now he noticed how he look. Oh, so you're saying this is worse than then? Worse than what?
Wenger left.
Yes. This is worse. This team now and the situation we're in with the high wage, with the injuries, with the tin squad is worse than what Arteta was.
Is this worse than friggin' Stuart Houston?
Now, who pulls that out? Who pulls Stuart Houston out of the ass? How many times on shows and on panels does anybody ever bring that up? That's all you got to think about. Just think about since everybody's been on YouTube, everybody's been on everybody's channel, everybody's been talking. How many times has Stuart Houston been brought up at all about Arsenal? At all. You can just go look around just the basic channels. Who has brought that up? He's scrambling, trying to find stuff. He's scrambling, trying to find stuff. He's trying to look for something. He's like, oh, well, now he wants to go talk about the 80s. Wants to talk about the 90s. Wants to start talking about all these decades. Now watch, he's going to try to go through these decades, but don't worry, we have receipts.
Stuart Houston was manager for about 6 months while he was waiting on Wenger. Wenger had already signed.
Is this worse than Bruce Rioch?
See, now he wants to go to Bruce. Is this worse than Bruce Rioch? And this is why I tell people, sometimes it's just best to be quiet. Because he wants to go to Bruce Rioch. Well, who signed Dennis Bergkamp? If we're going to play tit for tat like that, who got Dennis Bergkamp to the carpet. See, most of them don't know that. And that was the year I started supporting the club. They always want to go, oh, well, what about this? What about that? What about this manager right now? What about this manager? He better be glad it was Shane and not me, because I would have said, well, what about this manager right now? What about finishing second 3 times in a row? What about getting put out every semifinal he gets in? What about not getting the job done against PSG? What about running timber in the ground, which we'll talk about that a little later on too? 3 grade 3 hamstrings. What about that? They always want to deflect. They always want to go back. They always want to pull up. They have a lexicon of foolishness. They have a lexicon of foolishness on standby. And they stick to it. It's never about why the club is in the situation that is in right now. Right now. It's always, let's go back and pull it. Let's go pull up stuff.
Is this worse than Bruce
in his one and only season? He had a better season than Arteta's first 2 seasons.
Stop it.
He finished 5th. Where did Arteta finish his first 2 seasons? Where did Arteta finish his first 2 seasons?
Stop it.
We had Bergkamp. We had Ian Wright. We had Paul Merson. We had Tony Adams. We had Martin Keown, Lee Dixon, Winterburn, David Seaman. Do you want me to go on? Ray Parlour.
Did you watch Arsenal in the 80s?
What are you saying?
Did you watch Arsenal in the 80s?
No, I didn't watch Arsenal in the 80s. What about the 80s?
Okay, so what year did you start watching Arsenal?
So he wants to bring up Arsenal in the 80s. Wants to bring up Arsenal in the 80s. Wants to bring up Arsenal in the 80s. Let me see if I can bring this up a little larger for y'all. Bear with me, y'all. League trophy. Since Top Gooners love to mention finish, they love talking about finishing. Shout out to 478. You know Emperor. Shout out to the 478. There's a trophy right there. There's a trophy right there. League trophy back in the day. See that we won the league. We won a trophy, a major, as they call it. A major trophy was won in the 80s. And then he go, well, did you watch Arsenal in the 80s? It doesn't matter because they won a trophy. One of the most famous wins of all time in football. But then you want to go on about the 80s to try to say, oh, they didn't win much in the 80s. They won a league trophy. A league trophy was won. And by that, you can also say that kind of almost started the standard of what we did in the 90s. Okay. We'll move on here. We'll move on. Y'all bear with me. Y'all bear with me here. Let me zoom out here. I'm going to zoom out. Let me go back here. Y'all bear with me. And then we'll go through. And we look here. FA Cup, 78, 71, 49. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all this now. Because they act like Arsenal's never done anything. From the last major silverware in 23 to now, no major trophies beyond the Community Shield, which I give them. I'm gonna give them the little leeway. I'm gonna say that they got their little trophy because they love to mention the Community Shield. There it is right there for them. Because I know y'all in the chat watching. I know y'all sitting there with your hands balled up like Dr. Claw on Inspector Gadget. I know y'all mad as hell. But y'all gonna take this right here this morning. Arsenal narrowly missed out on Premier League titles in 22, 23, 24, and of course this year. And they did not add a trophy haul and finished 10 points behind. We'll come to that part in a little bit because I want to talk about something else too. But we're gonna stay on together because I want y'all to remember every single thing that he's saying in this clip. Every single thing. Y'all work with me because I'm getting y'all to where you need to be. But I want y'all to remember every single thing that this brother is saying right here in this clip.
Google. I'll give you time to Google it.
What year did you start watching Arsenal?
89.
89. Okay, I started watching Arsenal in 98. So I started watching Arsenal 10 years after you, okay? I'll tell you right now, I wasn't there for Bruce Rioch. I wasn't there for Stuart Houston. I wasn't there for friggin' George Ram's season where he finished 10th. But I'll tell you right now, you cannot tell me that those years where the team was that poor, or even forget about that. Let's even go to Arsene Wenger's last 2 seasons. You can't sit here and tell me
he won 2 FA Cups as well.
You cannot sit here and tell me that friggin'
no, I can.
Unai Emery's year. Unai Emery's year.
He finished 5th.
Unai Emery's years. No chance.
Year. And he finished 5th.
No chance.
This thing with that you say. At this point,
you're talking rubbish.
See, this is where you have to start questioning people like this. This is where you have to start really turning the knife, as they say. Well, Matt, what you saying? If you were following Arsenal from the 90s up until when Wenger won those FA Cups, then you understand the pain that we went through. And then when you get to when we win the titles, or when those FA Cups, you go, okay, that's a stopgap. Because in that, people always misplace the fact that we did not win the title the year Leicester City won it. And so now he's trying, he bypassed all of that. He's bypassed, we hadn't won a league in 20 plus years. He's driven right past that. Now notice the behavior of these people. What you saying, man? Notice the behavior. The FA Cup doesn't matter during the season. It only matters when they want to make a point. The FA Cup doesn't matter during the season. It only matters when they want to make a point. Because when we bring up about winning the FA Cup, what do they say? Oh, we don't have, we've won that enough times. Let's move on to something else. It's time to win something else. And by that, 100%, nobody gave Wenger credit for competing when Leicester City won. That was one of the main things, the catalyst for getting him out. See, this is why I say when you're on panels and on shows with these people, you got to you have to literally pull it out of them. Because he's trying to, FA Cup. But where's the FA Cup during the season? Because y'all turn it down. Y'all turn your nose up at it. League Cups, all that stuff. See, when they want to defend this manager, they will find any shape, form, or fashion to defend this manager at all times. The Arteta defense force is a sight to behold. This is a sight to behold.
That you don't talking rubbish, because you just dismiss everyone else's point. I'm telling you what I remember and what I believe. We won 2 cups that year, and you say, "Oh, forget that." Why would I forget the 2 cups? Because you're so obsessed with league finish. The only reason you're obsessed with league finish is because it's the only thing that Arteta can do.
If you're saying this is your lowest point as an Arsenal fan,
yes, it is.
In your
personally.
own world.
Yeah, like I said, he bypassed all of those years we hadn't won a trophy up until when Wenger won a trophy. Notice that didn't come up at all from Miguel. Not one moment did he bring that up. And I'm telling you, as somebody who lived it, I'm telling you, from coming into the Emirates all the way to, 2-3 years before he retired? No trophies at all. 0. Zilch. All we had during that period was moments. Beating AC Milan, Barcelona, coming back against Spurs. We had moments, which is basically like what we have now. Now that we're removed from that FA Cup that Arteta won, we're a moments-based team. Our success is predetermined by moments now. It's about how you feel. Well, I feel good. I feel great. I feel good. Why? Why? Because we're in second place. We finished in second. We finished in second. Oh, well, he's 3 times in a row. That's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Yeah, because it's unprecedented because only a fool would look at 3 times straight second place and you hadn't got over the line. And by that, if they want to keep going, well, we finished second 3 times, then why haven't we won a domestic cup along the way then? In that period. Why? Because if the team is that good, surely you should have had something to go along with it. You don't cook barbecue without some form of rub or some sauce or some seasoning. So surely something must have, you had something to go along with the dish. Oh no, we don't. We just worried about second place. This is how they operate. This is how this fan base operates. It's second place above all. Second place. And I'm going to preface this because, like I said, it's going to be a very long video today. We're going to be going for a while. And I'm going to preface this and let you all know, because I'm going to come back to it again. They are concerned with second place at all times. That's all they care about is second place. That's all they care about. And Shane nailed it. This is because this is the only thing he has to support. This is the only thing that Arteta has to support his claim. No trophies to show for it. Nothing to show for it the last 3 years. 4, 5. Since he last won the FA Cup. The trophy they don't care about. The trophy they say is beneath them. It doesn't hold the value that it used to have, as they say. And like I told you, you go back 20 plus, you go back through the history books and you look at the drought, the famous drought. You look at Birmingham City. The goal that they scored, the win that. We thought we had that wrapped up. We thought when we got Chelsea that year and Walcott scored, we thought we had that. How many titles have we pissed away in March up under Wenger? How many times have we pissed it away going down the stretch? Bolton, every time you look up a Bolton beating us, costing us the title. We can't close it out. We think we're going into a summer, we getting big time players. We coming back with Shamak. Signing players with broke backs. He forgets all of that. This is where I have to start questioning folks. When did you really start supporting Arsenal? What year did you really start supporting Arsenal? Because if you think this is the the best feeling in the world, if you think this is the best feeling in the world, I have to question, when did you actually start supporting Arsenal? I have to start asking that. Because I keep hearing this, oh, well, man, this is, if you think right now, if you think this is the worst in 40, you've been supporting the team. You think this is the worst. I'd go on a limb and say 75% of this current modern fan base started supporting this team in 2010. 2010, the day when we beat Barcelona in that Champions League game You probably had a bunch of folk that were closet Barcelona fans. We beat them. Oh, I like the atmosphere at the stadium. They look like they all together. Let's go join them. That's what you probably had. That's probably what we had. Because there's no way you started supporting this team in 98 and say that the standards of this manager, based off of what we did in 98, and then you're going to take that standard and come into this year and say what the manager's done for 3 years, and you think that's out that he's doing something. There's no way. There's no way from 98 to 2002 you supported the team then. And you're going to tell me that from that period, based off of what we achieved those years, that today, if you're going to take that and then say that today is top of the line stuff with Arteta. There's no way. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. That's preposterous. This is why I said you have to start questioning. When did you actually start supporting the team, man? Because there's no way you support the team. I'll give you 4 years. The first 4 years you supported Arsenal, we was winning. We was having trophies all over the place and competing. I mean, straight competing for trophies. Battling, going toe-to-toe with United. And then you get to 2025, 24, 23, 22, and you talking about that's the best. That this Arteta second place finishes. Man, you better pull that back up the horse's ass. Here we go.
No, I'm not. I just named off a load of other people that think the same. I just named I named off people like Kenny Ken. I named no. Kenny Ken, DJB, Jezza, who have more Arsenal knowledge in their little finger than you. They all say the same thing. So I'm not in my own little world.
I think you're all delusional. I think you're all delusional.
We're delusional. We're delusional.
I think you're all disillusioned by Arsenal. You're all disillusioned by Arsenal.
Don't do this thing where you say it's
where you're saying dramatic statements.
No. We are booking.
No, you guys are actually
we're
crazy.
sick of people like you who back them and keep them in a.
You know something? You've witnessed Arsenal have seasons where they had 17 and 16 defeats, and you're sitting here talking about Arsenal this year.
See, notice who I said notice. He never brings up the trophy drop. Never brings up the trophy drop. Never brings up we hadn't won a league title in 20 plus years. As I always tell y'all, I had a head full of hair and a face full of hair. It was a little bit skinnier. I probably was Lee's size back then. And you're telling me that we're going to use today versus back then. He keeps going back to what he has in front of him on that screen. I told y'all, he's sitting in front of a screen. And he can't, he's trying to figure out a way to get the inside track on Shane, and he can't do it. So this is why he's defaulted to, you're disillusioned, all this stuff.
As if it's the worst season in your life.
When did that happen? What season did that happen?
In the early 90s.
But he's looking. Year did we lose?
No. Let's look at the face. Look at the face. He's scrolling. Look, he's looking.
92, 93, 94, 95.
When we won 2 cups, and then we won a Cup Winners' Cup that ordered in 94 as well.
See, he's looking at what he's doing here. He's looking at the win-loss. He's not looking at the trophy that accompanied that. He's not looking at the trophy. He's not looking at the trophies. He's looking at win-loss because he wants to try to win the argument on win-loss. And this is what a lot of them want to do. They don't realize you can't win the argument with Arteta on win-loss because there's no trophies, there's no success tied to it. They keep going back to, the win-loss record. There's no trophies tied to it. So it's just moments. This is why I coined the phrase today, more moments-based metric. Everything's moments-based. Declan Rice, 2 free kicks. We beat Real Madrid. We beat City. We got to the semifinal. We got to the semifinal of the FA Cup. Excuse me, the Champions League. It's moments-based metrics. So when you look at what we did in the past, it was all tied to a trophy. Everything we did was in our history in the past was tied to success. Whether we finished what we didn't want to finish, but guess what? If we finished somewhere where we didn't want to finish, but guess what? Guess what happened that year? We had 2 trophies or a trophy. This is why you don't hear anybody talk negative about it. because that was success. That was a trophy. But then when you talk about the past 3 years, what do you hear him say? Points. Teams we beat. Oh, yeah, but Declan Rice. And that's not knock on Declan Rice. But this is what they do. They point at everything else but the moniker of success.
Those 2 years. They're the ones you're talking about.
Won that actually in 93, 94.
We won the Cup Winners' Cup in 93, 94. We won 2 cups in 92, 93.
All right.
Boom.
You just say what you want to say. Arsenal was a cup team.
Yeah, you see that? That's when you know he's done. That's nothing to come back for. How can you come back in success? Hold on, wait a minute. Where is he at? Where is he at? This is why I say I got a lot of stuff here. I just saw him. Where is he at? There we go. There we go. Let me see if I can get him up right quick. Y'all bear with me. Let's see if I can pull this off. I don't want to take the one I got down. So y'all just bear with me. Let me open this one up and see.
Success. If you have success.
There we go. There we go. I got it right here. Right here. Right here. I'm going to play this audio because I don't want to take this down in case it goes away from where we at here. I'm going to play this audio. And I want y'all to hear this. This is from Ian Wright.
Success. If you have success, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day because people say, oh, that was just a bad period.
You hear that? Did y'all hear what Brother Ian just said? Could y'all hear that? If you could hear that, put a 1 in the chat. I want to make sure y'all can hear that. If not, I'll play it after I get through with this clip. If you heard that, put a 1 in the chat for me, please. Ian Wright, I'll play it again for everybody.
Success. If you have success, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day because people say, oh, that was just a bad period.
Fact. 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 If we had success and we finished three times, second place 3 times running, and we had a trophy for every year he's done it, I wouldn't be doing this show. I'd get my morning workout in. The fact of the matter is, there has been no success these past 3 years. There's been no success at all. None. And that's what success does. Success eliminates all of the other factors. This is why, if you notice, he couldn't pivot anymore on that argument with Shane because he realized, crap. In his mind, he realized, crap. We did win trophies, even though we finished in a position where we wasn't satisfied with. Crap, we did win trophies. Well, you just say what you want to say, man. That's now watch how it deteriorates from here. Watch how it deteriorates from right here.
I'm just saying facts, mate. All I'm saying is facts. That's all I'm saying is facts. We won 2 cups. That's when we did actually concentrate on something else, like you said about the Champions League this season. The only difference is we won.
Oh, so we're that poor in the league because we focus on other trophies.
No, we were that poor in the league because we just had a poor season, but we won 2 cups. Even when we were having a poor season, even with these teams that you said were shit.
So if Arteta wins the FA Cup next season, are you going to be happy?
See? What I tell y'all? What did I just tell y'all? The FA Cup only matters when they want to win an argument. This is the only time it matters. You ask them that question in February and March when we out of the league, and you watch what they say. If we're remotely, let me rephrase that. If we're remotely close to competing in the league, you ask them that question in January, February, watch what they say. Oh, man, we're not worried about that. We've got bigger fish to fry. That's what they said. But you just right there. You just see it right there. The FA Cup only matters when they want to win an argument. This is why because they know. If you notice, he didn't say, well, what if Arteta wins the league next year? Because he knows that's not happening. He knows that's not happening. He knows that's not happening. So then he defaults to something that might happen. It might happen. It might. It's a big might happen. Because he knows the league is away from us. So then he goes to the FA Cup.
I'd be happy that we won the FA Cup. I still want him out. Of course, I'd be happy.
Now, when you see this look right here, you see that look right there? Right there. Hold on. Where's my soundboard at here? Where is my soundboard? When you see that right there, that is let you know that he's getting ready to go into evil egal mode right there. That is evil egal right there. The argument is lost. The battle has been lost. And I'm getting ready to go 100% troll. 100% troll.
You told some of the biggest lies that I've ever heard of in my whole life.
He's getting ready to go to that mode. He's getting ready to go to that mode. And it's getting ready to go down. Evil egal has been unlocked. Achievement unlocked.
To win the FA Cup, I'd be delighted, but I still want him out because it's only getting worse, egal, and it's going to get worse again next season. I can see, this is my opinion, but I can see.
By the way, 94, 95, we never won anything.
No. 94, 95 was when we got to the Cup Winners' Cup final. 93, 94, we won the Cup Winners' Cup. 92, 93, we won 2 cups. 92,
okay,
93
so we won back-to-back cups, and then we had our worst season. 1 second. We won back-to-back cups. George Graham got sacked. And then the year George Graham got sacked was an...
He didn't even catch that. Let's go back. Hey, did y'all catch that? I want y'all to just listen to what he said. And he didn't even realize what he said.
The Cup Winners' Cup, 92, 93, we won 2 cups.
We never won anything.
Oh, excuse me. Here we go.
Of course, I'd be happy if we win the FA Cup. I'd be delighted, but I still want him out because it's only getting worse, egal, and it's going to get worse again next season. I can see, this is my opinion, but I can see.
By the way, 94, 95, we never won anything.
No. 94, 95 was when we got to the Cup Winners' Cup final. 93, 94, we won the Cup Winners' Cup. 92, 93, we won 2 cups. 92,
okay,
93
so we won back-to-back cups, and then we had our worst season. 1 second. We won back-to-back cups.
Back-to-back cups.
George Graham got sacked. And then the year George Graham got sacked was an absolute farce for 2 seasons.
Yeah, but you're going by league finish. You're going by no.
Yeah, see, this is why I love the way Shane caught that league finish. Because he's staying on that league finish thing. He's not going by success. He just said it. Back-to-back cup finishes. Worst season, manager gets sacked. All of this stuff. And then 94, 95, he never brings up. In 95, he never brings up the obvious. Because 95 is, especially in those 90s, in those mid-90s, was probably one of the most important years of this football club's history. Those two, 95 and 96. Because that started a decade of decadence. He never brings that up. Top Gunners never bring that up.
2 seasons.
The 2 years,
season, and we got to the final.
For the 2 years between George Graham and Arsene Wenger, you're telling me that was better?
We finished it. It's not that you keep going on about finishing second. I'm going on about the hope I had. The hope I had.
1 second.
That season you're talking about, we had Dennis Bergkamp just signed. Of course, I was better.
Stop right now. The 2 years between.
Stop right now. Stop. Halt right now. This is why I say evil legality is unlocked. See, right now, he knows that the argument is lost, and it is full on troll. He's getting ready to troll. He's about to go into troll mode. That's right, Shane. That's right. And shout out to Kyle in the chat and Al and everybody. I see y'all in there. I meant to stop and tell everybody what's up this morning. But we rolling. Egal completely contradicts himself. George Graham got sacked for 2 poor years. This is what I was saying. This is what I'm saying, Shane, is that he didn't even realize. He didn't even hear what he said. The manager who got the trophy still got sacked. Because there were standards. he defaults back to league finish. I told you, moments based FC. Carl, shout out. Good morning, fellas.
Banger and George Graham, where there was no major honors, and Arsenal were a mess.
We've gone 5 years. We've gone 5 years. So of course I had more hope.
Bro,
I'm talking about hope being gone. We've gone 5 years.
What have we done for 5 years? What are you talking about?
He's right. Now, you guys didn't even know he's right. What have we done for 5 years? See, there's always some truth in certain situations. He came out and said the truth, but don't even realize he said the truth. What have we done in 5 years? What have we done in 5 years? What have we done in 5 years? Because nobody's going to look at these second place finishes in 8 years. Oh, man, what a great Arsenal team that was. They finished second 8 times running. So 3 times running. Nobody's going to do that. This is why I said when you see this Egal, when you see Egal make that smirk, that's evil. Egal is unlocked. He's running out of ideas.
What?
What are you talking about? You said this year.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the hope I have. The hope I have going into the season.
There's no chance you're sitting here telling me.
You're changing things. I said I've never been this down about Arsenal. That's just a fact.
I think that's a lie.
Feeling.
I think that's
a lie. It's not a lie. Why would I lie about it? Why would I lie about it? What do I get the benefit from lying?
See why? Here we go. The stats ain't stat now. So now he knows that argument. Watch this.
About it. That's just how I'm just telling you how I feel. Don't tell me how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel. That's ridiculous. I was there in 94, 95. I was there in 95, 96.
Okay.
We finished.
I'm just telling you,
things were changing.
This is not Arsenal's lowest moment in our club's history. You're just making a ridiculous.
I didn't say that. I didn't say the club's history.
That's what you
see. He didn't say that. Shane never said that. But see, I'm using the argument to show you that this is not, regardless of the fact, because he wants to make it because he says, he wants to say it's the lowest point in history. What? I'm gonna just go through the numbers and the stats. It's not. The lowest point is when you say you're supposed to have supported the team. It is 21 years without a league title. 3 second place finishes. And we finished 10 points off the champions last year. 10 points. I'll let you figure out what's the lowest point, Mr. Egal. You finish it out. You feel it. Finish it out. This is absolute waffle. You right out. This is absolute waffle. The only thing missing right now is syrup and scrambled eggs. That's the only thing that's missing. And what he's done here is he's confused himself. He's confused himself. Now watch the self-destruction. This portion is going to be called the self-destruction of Egal. Right
this
here.
is where the argument started.
In my time. I said it's the lowest.
Okay, at this point, I'm being gaslit because somebody's saying something and then they're saying I never said it.
I didn't say in history. I said it in my time supporting Arsenal. This is the lowest I've ever been. That's all I said.
Yeah, and you're lying.
You changed it to history. I'm just telling you how I feel. What's that got to do with anything?
Okay, you can feel how you want to feel. I'll tell you right now.
Don't
I feel like this is the closest we've been to going on and winning silverware.
He says that. He said that this is the closest that we've been to going on and winning silverware. This is why. Chat. This is why I said what I said earlier. When you hear this kind of stuff, you have to ask, when did you actually start supporting Arsenal? Because if these 3 years are the closest that we've been to winning silverware, and you say you supported in 98, I have to question that. I have to seriously question that. If you started supporting the club in 98, and you're saying that these past few years have been the closest we've been to obtaining silverware, clearly you were not supporting Arsenal in the 90s. That's why I told you most of this fan base probably started supporting this team in the 2010s. Because there's no way as an Arsenal fan you can say this is the closest we've been. And then you go back into the argument that a lot of us are making is the fact of the matter is that if we've been second place 3 times running, we should have won something within that time period. We went from 8 points ahead to throwing that away. We went to 2, losing it by 2. Then we finished 10 points behind. If you think 10 points behind is the closest we've been, this is what I said. Seriously, I start questioning. How long have you been supporting Arsenal? How long have you been supporting Arsenal? I told you, everybody knows I've been supporting Arsenal since the mid-90s. Trust me. I've seen success. I've seen losing to United. 99. We all remember that year. We all remember Pizzagate. Should have got to 50 games unbeaten. He said he was supporting in the 90s, so he would have saw two cup doubles. 4. He would have saw 4 trophies automatic. 2002, 98. He would have saw. That's why I say you have to start questioning these folks, man. You got to start asking these questions. Uncomfortable questions.
Major silverware. Because our team is so much more competitive than it's ever been over the last decade.
We didn't compete for anything last season, Miguel. And the season before we were more competitive.
We competed for the Champions League. We were in the semi-final of the Champions League.
That's not competing. Getting to the finals competing.
Getting to a semi-final of the Champions League is competitive, bro.
We lost both legs, Miguel. We got dogs.
See, you go back to it again. That's why I said you go back to it again. Let's go back to that argument. That was one that was made during the Champions League. Oh, we beat Real Madrid. We've beaten Real Madrid before. People act like we've never beat Real Madrid before. We've beaten them before. Hell, we beat the Galacticos. See, this is why I said most of the folks that started supporting this club, they started supporting them late on. Most of it is when NBC. Let me just go ahead and be a buck. Let me keep it a buck with y'all. Most of it is because when ESPN and NBC bought out full rights to the Premier League, they could watch all these games on their mobile phones. They could watch them on their computers. And they can watch them in the house. It was much more accessible for the person who have not watched football to be able to watch football over here. Whereas back in the day, you had to have the expensive ass cable package to watch Premier League football, and you had to do pay-per-view. Now, anybody that's in here in their 40s know what I'm talking about. That's over in the States. Most people started watching it then, and this is what you got now. Most of the fan base is that fan base. So people that started watching it with NBC and Peacock start making it easy and accessible to watch these games. And we're looking at mid-20s, mid-2010s, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, when Aguero. After Aguero scored that goal, everybody started watching. Most of these folks started watching. And this is what you get because they bypass all of the history. They bypass all of it. All of the success-based metrics, they bypass. They go to moments-based metrics. Setanta Sports, thank you. I'm out there buying boxes to try to watch the Premier League in full season. Yellow and black. Setanta Sports. If you know, you know.
To a semi-final of a competition is quite competitive.
You can say that as soon as you enter a cup, then you're competing.
That's the most competitive we've been in the Champions League since 2 decades almost.
It's different. It means nothing. It's a semi-final and we lost. What are you talking about? Why have you lowered our standards so much that that's acceptable? See, this is what you've done, and Semi and all these people. You lower the standards so low that you have no right to get mad if Cesco
and you just talk shit and then say it's high standards.
No, I remember Arsenal.
No, bro. You sit here and just talk shit and then say, yeah, I have high standards, but Gabriel Magal is going to break his leg.
Now notice, you heard that? Watch, he just went direct. He just completely went off the rail. The argument is about success. where we finished and what we done. And what does Evil Legal do?
So low that you have no right to get mad if Cesco
and you
says
just talk shit and then say it's high standards.
No, I remember Arsenal as they were.
Bro, you sit here and just talk shit and then say, yeah, I have
No,
high
I'm not
standards,
talking
but
shit.
Gabriel Magalhaes is going to break his leg.
I didn't say he's going to break his leg. Why do you keep making shit?
No, because I'm over exaggerating. Because this is what you do. You gas.
See, he's gaslight.
Leave the geezer. Leave the geezer. Leave the geezer.
I mean, this brother here, he's completely lost it. This is why I say Evil Egal. This is Evil Egal right here. That day I was on Pot's channel and he came up on there after we was getting ready to shut the show down in record time. Everybody was going to go enjoy their day. Everybody made their points. It was peaceful, quiet. He shows up. All hell breaks loose. I swear this is Dr. Claw in human form. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Evil Egal shows up, and then he raises hell. When all is lost, when all of the metrics and the numbers and the stats and everything doesn't go his way, he completely goes off the rail. Does it all the time. And it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. These last 3-4 months have gotten absolutely worse. I want you all to remember this now. I told y'all, I said, I want y'all to remember this because I've got something coming right behind this that's gonna mud all this. I want y'all to remember everything he's saying here.
Like people,
that's what you
and then
do.
you over-exaggerate and you say crazy shit.
No, it's not true.
This is what you do. What high standards?
One or two things and you just repeat yourself.
You shitting on the club.
Well, I want to know something.
Does not dictate that you have high standards.
You say this all the time when
you're miserable. You're miserable. It's okay. If you're miserable with Arsenal, it's okay.
This is what the top gooners do. They get first.
No, you're just miserable.
We're just asking for standards.
Miserable.
We're asking for
standards. Every time you talk about Arsenal, it comes off as if you're depressed because of Arsenal.
That's what that club does to me. Yes,
I don't have the clip. I meant to get that clip, but before that, he was going on Brother Deluded. He's talking about, oh, I'm down, I'm stressed out because we hadn't done anything in the transfer markets. But like I said, I got a treat. I got a treat. Let me get through this. I got a treat.
I love them and I want to see them do better.
Take a break. It's summer.
It's all about content to you. It's all about content. I love the club first. I love the club first. What are you talking about? I'm going to Germany in 2 weeks, you prat. You know what I mean? What's that got to do with anything? You talk shit, man. You talk
get your mind off Arsenal, because bro, it shouldn't stress you out that much.
You only get on these panels because you're a fucking Jerry Springer prop, mate, and that's it. You come on because you're entertaining.
Look at you. You lost composure. Keep composure, bro. Keep it respectful.
I am keeping it respectful. You're the one telling me how to feel. You're telling me how to feel.
Look at the change. Look at the change right there. Look at that look. Look at that look. Look at the gears are turning. The gears are turning. You can just hear it. I hate I don't have an evil laugh, but I'll just give you one. That's a Shao Kahn laugh. He look at that look right there. He is ready to go evil. Evil. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He's acted out. Now he tells Shane, hey, keep it respectful. Behave.
That's not how
now you lost composure. You're the one that's acting like a prat now.
No, it's called passion, mate. It's called passion.
No, it's called passion for you, but you're calling me a prat for what?
Because of the way you're carrying on, mate. Because of the way you're carrying on.
I'm calling out your bullshit. Because you're always on here.
You're making stuff up. You're saying, oh, you said Gabriel would break his leg.
Because you're gaslighting me.
You said he'd lose to Man United. See, you always use defensive words and you get caught out.
Were you not saying some crazy shit 2 seconds ago?
I was just telling the truth.
All right, and you know something? I don't really care what you say,
because see, not all the stats and everything that what matter is gone. Everything that matters is gone. Let's shut this down. This next clip, I call this the clip of clips. I call this the clip of clips. Let me get this lined up. Let me get this lined up.
Defender. I don't know what the manager can do at this point, but even he is out of his depth. It is a situation where right now he's in Manchester. Pep had him as his assistant. He can have him back as his assistant because the way the club is set up, the way the organization of the team is set up, the way that everything is run at Arsenal Football Club right now, to be in 20th to have 0 goals is not an overstatement anymore. After Villarreal, to be honest, I barely had any support left for this manager. But at this point, I have nothing to give to him. He does not give us anything to hold on to as fans, to be able to say, you know what, there's something there. There is nothing there anymore. It's a rotten course. The club is rotten. The manager has to go. The players have to go. Everybody has to fucking go. And this is just the beginning of the season. At this point, the season's finished. The manager's finished. The club is finished. Write off the whole season. Bring in a new ownership. Bring in everything. Because at this point, we need a complete overhaul from the beginning to end. It's going to be more and more the same. Am I going to wait until Norwich to say, am I going to wait until we lose to Norwich to say, oh, at this point, Arteta has to go? No, bro. I'm sorry. I know it might be an overstatement. Manchester City just won the league last year. They're a much better team than us. But we should not be performing the way we're performing with the amount of investment that we have in the team in comparison to everybody else.
Oh, did you hear that? Did y'all hear that right there? Did you hear that right there, ladies and gentlemen? You know I like to play along with the chat. You know I like to try to keep y'all in. I like to keep y'all engaged. Put a 2 in there if you heard what he just said. If you gotta listen with a third ear. Did y'all hear what he just said? Did y'all hear what Brother Egal just said? This is passionate Egal right here, by the way. This is not evil Egal. This is passion. You can see the difference in the two. This is passionate Egal. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said, ladies and gentlemen? This brother, he's made the argument that we've been making for the last 3 years, all in one. And you're going to hear that argument play out again today in some other clips. This brother said, let's go. Tell us again, Egal. Tell us.
Norwich to say, am I going to wait until we lose to Norwich to say, oh, at this point, Arteta has to go? No, bro. I'm sorry. I know it might be an overstatement. Manchester City just won the league last year. They're a much better team than us. But we should not be performing the way we're performing with the amount of investment that we have in the team.
The amount of investment. The amount of investment. The money has been spent. The money has been spent. The amount of investment. This was 3-4 years ago. This was years ago. This is before I was on the scene. This brother said we should not be performing with this type of investment. Then he tells other folks when he's saying the same thing that he said, that they're being negative. They're shitting on the club. They're shitting on the club. Oh, my word, Meo Deus.
In comparison to everybody else. West Ham have less investment than us. Guess what? Leicester's whole entire team costs less than the players that we shifted out. We shift.
Wait. See, now he's right. Then he brings up how much other teams cost. That's not what Lee does. When Lee does it, oh, he's being an accountant. He's being an accountant. When we sit down and we go through these numbers and we talk about wages, we talk about how much one team has here, another team has there. Y'all are shitting on the club. He's shitting on the club because that's what he said. That's what he was talking about. Shane, when Shane brings up about money, we Carl in the chat, Aaron, Jez, Northside, Yorkshire, everybody outside that brings up Tony, Lions Tex. You know, they bring up these facts. Y'all are shitting on the club. But he was bringing these facts up. This was back then.
It out over 1,500,000 in wages. Leicester's whole team last year per week only got 1,205,000 a week. Just goes to show you, we do not invest in the right players. We do not.
Oh, wait a minute. That ties into today. That ties into today. Watch this. Again,
105K a week. Just goes to show you, we do not invest in the right players. We do not invest in the right managers. I gave Arsene Wenger more stick than I've given Arteta. And
y'all hear that? I've given that's true right there. That's 100% true what he just said. 1,000% true. I've given Arsene Wenger more stick than I've given Arteta. That is 1,000% true. 1,000% true. That's what he said. That's what he just said. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes in this again. Look at he's about to cry. He's the passion. Look at it. He's hurt. This is Boys to Men. Please don't go away from me. That right there, that's pain. That's pain in his eyes right there, bruh. He means every last word of what he's saying right here. As we say down here in the country, he's standing on business. 10 toes deep. He's standing on it. Right here. Passionate gal.
And I'm an absolute idiot for doing that. I tried my best to say, you know what? I made a mistake turning on Emery. I made a mistake turning on a thing. Maybe I'm making a mistake turning on Arteta again. But at this point, I can't see what he's going to do to turn me around as a fan. It's ridiculous. And guys, everyone, call me what you want to call me. I don't care. At the end of the day, I used to say best for the club is continuity and consistency. Forget that. There's no such thing as continuity and consistency if what you're trying to build continuity and consistency with is irrelevant, useless, garbage.
Wow. Did y'all hear this? So what changed? What changed? I'll tell you what changed. I have to zoom in for this one. One word. Acceptance. Got to be accepted. Got to be accepted. Wait a minute. Let me see here. I think I've got one more. Let me double check. Oh, yeah. There's another one. There's another one.
So Kolasinac wouldn't have to play. We were trying to get rid of him to Turkey. Why are we playing him? Makes no sense. Callum Chambers holding. This is a championship defense. Callum Chambers holding. I love my team, but I got to tell you as it is, guys. This is fucked up. Callum Chambers holding Kolasinac, Cedric are in this team. And we're how many years in to trying to get over this whole situation? We've been rebuilding for how many years?
Oh, wait, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Did y'all hear what he said? Did y'all hear what he just said? What word did he use there? What word did he use right there? What word? Put it in the chat, y'all. I'm going to wait. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. What word did he use right there? What word did he use? Y'all load it up. DJB, you in here. You in here. What did he put in there? What word did he use? Put it in there. I want to see it. Spam the chat. Spam the chat. Spam the chat with it right now. Spam the chat with it right now. Spam the chat right now. This brother said, rebuild. 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 Has sat on panels for the last 7 months. The last 7 months. And every time it is brought up about, we've got to bring in players. We've got to sell players to bring in players. We're basically starting over. DJB, a rebuild within a rebuild. No, we're retooling. We're retooling. We're retooling. But you go back a few years, he's saying this. He's saying this.
Rebuilding for how many years? For this whole situation. We've been rebuilding for how many years? This whole situation. We've been rebuilding for how many years? To trying to get over this whole situation. We've been rebuilding for how many years? This whole situation. We've been rebuilding for how many years? Get over this whole situation. We've been rebuilding for how many years? Get over this whole situation. We've been rebuilding for how many years?
Kind of sounds like us. We've been doing this for how many years? 6 years. How long we been doing this? But then goes to Shane. Oh, if this is the worst you've been in. But then you go back 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and then this is what was sitting out there on the interwebs. Right there. Right there. Say, I would do it again.
We've been rebuilding for how many years?
How many years, he said?
We've been rebuilding for how many years? We still have Callum Chambers. We still have Holding. We just signed Cedric. Kolasinac is still here. As much as we want to talk about everything, these guys are not of the level.
The Giants, not of the level. It's a reason why I've laid the show out the way I've done it. There's a reason why I've laid. This is why I led with this clip first. Not of the level. Not of the level. These players are not of the level. That sounds like something Kyle Walsh would say. That sounds like something Kyle Walsh would say. Jazz would say that. Lee says it all the time. I say it. Shane says it. Norski says it. Line text, BBK. Alps, Tony Claude, not of the level. Y'all are shitting on the team. I guess y'all just shitting on the team. One more time for good measure. One more time for good measure.
How many years in to trying to are in this team, and we're how many years in to trying to get over this whole situation? We've been rebuilding for how many years? We still have Callum Chambers. We still have Holding. We just signed Cedric. Kolasinac is still here. As much as we
see, even right there, he mentioned Cedric. We had just signed Cedric Suarez, and you heard that we just signed Cedric. You heard that?
We're how many years in to trying to get over this whole situation? We've been rebuilding for how many years? We still have Callum Chambers. We still have Holding. We just signed Cedric. Kolasinac is still here. As much as we want to talk about everything, these guys are not of the level. Now let's continue.
Not of the level. Not of the level. Which is a perfect segue. Where is it at here? Which is a perfect segue. Where is it at here? Y'all bear with me. Where is he at? Where is it at? So I can say I got so much stuff here. There we go. We start talking about this right here. Like I said, it's all going to tie together. Let me close a couple of these screens out here so I don't confuse myself. Y'all bear with me here. I think this is close this out. Stop that one. All right, there we go. All right. Not of the level. Right on point. Right on time. Not of the level. Kepa signs in. There's a new Arsenal player. My feeling on joining this club is that we are so close to winning, says Kepa. I was not bothered by even wasting my time to go look at that shambles of an intro video that they put up. You know, it's funny they're talking about raise the level now, but back then he was saying not of the level. And we sign players like this. Nobody in this football club or associated or watches this football club, and they better be lucky I forgot to do that this morning, was to go back here and look at and I'll tell you all, if you want some fun, go back. You want something to do, a treasure hunt, go back and try to find videos of top Gooners saying they wanted this man at the football club. Go find it. You won't find it. You won't find it. Now the new argument is they're upset with us buying bench players. They are bench players until they are called upon. And then once they are called upon, then they deem them as not good enough, as you saw in the previous clip. This is what they do. This is what they do. Where else have we seen this, ladies and gentlemen? We've got him lined up. We've got him lined up as well. Just bear with me. Where did I put him? I got the audio. Got the audio. Let's see. What folder did I put him in? Y'all just hold tight. Y'all bear with a brother. Like I said, I got a ton of stuff here. Let me see. Tell you what, if I can't find it that way. Let me see. Not there. Yeah, if I can't find it. Hold on. Is it that one? No. No. I tell you what. Hold on. Y'all bear with me right quick. I can pull it up on YouTube and play the audio. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to get hit for copyright. But I'm going to play the audio. Y'all bear with me. Get the likes up in here, y'all. Get those likes up right quick. And there we go. There we go. There we go. Let me fast forward in here a little bit.
The evidence that I saw in my own eyes that he is the best.
But the way you guys play it, two different. You guys play with Havertz as like a false number 9. Haaland's an out and out striker.
So and that's the problem.
But hold on, let me finish. Then that's going to be different. Havertz is supposed to have more goal contributions because he drops deep, he links the play, he does all of that stuff. Whereas Haaland mostly plays on the shoulder, in behind, gets the goal. So that's nonsense.
Yeah, but also
that's nonsense to me.
If you look at the Manchester City setup, everybody around Haaland, there is an emphasis on them being a greater creator than a goal scorer, to a point with Phil Foden as well, of course, who produced plenty of goals. But Doku, Bernardo Silva, Savinho, I think this season, these are all players that are tailored, which are more emphasis on creation for Haaland than there is on goal scoring themselves. You look at Arsenal's team, there is a greater emphasis on goals across that front line. When you look at Saka, when you look at Trossard.
Anybody who follows me, what do I call that? When you hear that talk, that kind of talk right there, what strategy is that? What strategy is that? We've been doing it. We've been doing it ever since the manager's been here. We've been doing it ever since the manager's been here. I told y'all, this is the hope strategy. We hope that this player scores that. We hope that that player scores that. We hope that that player scores. We hope. Instead of going out and getting the player that actually does it. This Tom Canton, he has a love fest with this Kai Havertz. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like this. 100% static. The hope strategy. I've never seen anything like this with this Kai Havertz. They love this man. They love this man. It's like as if he brought them into the world. Just listen to how he defends this man. Title of this video, for anybody who wants to watch it, Tom Canton makes crazy claim that he would rather have Kai Havertz as a striker over Victor Osimhen. And just watch this. Watch how this brother just goes on about Kai Havertz.
When you look at Martinelli and that, I know he's not been the same player as he has, but that season when he got 15 Premier League goals and 5 assists, you're looking at an emphasis on goals from around the team.
I agree with you. Your goals are spread around the team. But if you got a guy like Haaland, Osimhen, who's going to bag you that 20 plus in the Premier League, you change your... Yeah, come on, Palace. Come on.
Well, fast forward a little bit, just a little bit, y'all.
Even from slot, from these last couple of games, and we win the league, I change it like that. So don't tell me that it's working.
But what I mean, the issue that I've got from your point of view there is that you're saying that you change it like that. But the answer that we've got here is that you're suggesting that Osimhen is the answer. And I don't think Osimhen is the answer when you're going to say, if you're going to change Arsenal's philosophy, and your answer of changing their philosophy is swapping out Havertz, who notoriously is excellent at collaborating with the players around him, which is the philosophy.
You hear this? You hear that? Excellent. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you what. When you hear Tom Cannon talk, this is what you hear. Y'all, this is what you hear. Where is she? Where is she at? Where is she at? Where is she at? Here we go. Not that one. 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 Where's my other? Where's the one? I thought I had on here. There we go. Shout out to Lee. You caught that too, Lee. You caught excellent collaborating with the players around him. All you hear, this is all you hear. On what planet, if you're offered Victor Osimhen, you can pay the wages and everything else, do you not take that player and bring that player into the team? They are trying to do anything they can to make sure that Kai Havertz has a nice, prepared place in this football club. Because they back this manager. It's all tied together. That's why I say it's all tied together. You have the Arteta defense force, and you got Evil Gallen running around. Then you got this clown here going out on public airways talking about how Kai Havertz is this excellent collaborator. First thing he did when he came on the pitch towards the end of the year is fell over. 65 million. And they didn't know where to play him. But he's an excellent collaborator. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get ready to get the cooking on these tippity tops in just a second. We're gonna get the cooking on some of these tippity tops. This is the fan base. This is the fan base. When you look at these polls and you see 80% want Arteta in, this is the 80% right here. These are the tippity of the tops. This is them. You see them. You always say, well, who are these people? You listen to him.
That Arteta is instigating into this team by swapping him out with a player that is all about, not as a personal, but all about himself in terms of the way he plays, then that just doesn't suddenly take you to that next step.
But Tom, would you change your philosophy for Alexander Isak?
Isak is the only centre forward I felt on the market this summer who wasn't even on the market because then they were going to send him. That I think does start overhanging.
So you're going.
He can't. See, if you bring up somebody like Isak, he can't help but say he's better than Kai Havertz because he'd look like a complete fool if he said he didn't. So he's not stupid now. Ted knows if I say that Kai Havertz is better than Isak, I'm going to be all my credibility is lost, which it is already. So he knows he's not going to answer. He's going, oh yeah, of course Isak came back there. Of course that. Yeah, he's been on the person, But watch this.
This argument is that you just don't think Osimhen's good enough for you to change your philosophy for, but you think Isak is.
Yes.
Is there any other striker in world football that is?
No.
Right there. Where is he at? I know y'all. Some of y'all want him. He's telling you, he's saying there's nobody in world football that we could bring in an attacking area that's better than Kai Havertz. What planet are you from, my friend? What planet are you from? He's from Klingon. Shout out to my Star Trekkies in the chat. That is outrageous. These are the people that go onto these television shows. They get in public viewing. They get into public sight, and then they say the most outlandish things. This is why I title it outrageous. Arsenal fan. It's outrageous. Because he's so devoted to Kai Havertz and his manager. He's so devoted. He's solely devoted. This is why I said yesterday when I was on Northside, they worship at the altar of Arteta. I used to work in journalism. Shout out to Al in the chat. He'll tell you, I used to work in TV. I used to be a sports journalist. I used to do exactly what Tom did. I've been around celebrities my entire life. No problem at all. Even do it now as a photographer. The way these people act to try to get into the position is outrageous. Your merit will get you there alone. You don't have to try to kiss somebody's ass to get to the top. And this is what's infested football across the whole spectrum. Too many kiss asses. They want to kiss ass to get to the top. When all you got to do is just do your job and do it efficiently. This is piss poor journalism. He should be on the airways saying, we need a striker like Osimhen at the football club. We need to be in a position where we should be going after players like Haaland. That's what he should be saying. Instead, he's defending a player that we spent $65 million on that hadn't done jack shit since he's been here. That's what they spend their times. You don't have to go and kiss people's ass to get to the top. And we've got a football club infested with kiss asses. Oh, don't worry, we're coming down the pipe. I told everybody that watched Northside yesterday that will be blood in the streets this morning. There will be blood in the streets. We're not. I'm probably right now. If I was on percentage, I'm probably at 30%. We're going down the line. This is going to be a very long video today. Just letting y'all know right now. This right here is a textbook example of why, when we get to this transfer window, which we'll be talking about that shortly in just a second, this is why we never bring in the best of these. We bring in the Norgards of the world. We bring in the Cedrics. Y'all heard the guy talking about Cedric a little bit ago. We bring in these players that are not of the level. Quote Egal, that's what he said, not of the level. Because we have too many of these people getting into mass media, and then they get on TV and they say all this stuff. Oh, Kai Havertz is the best. So what do you think the club? You think the club's not listening to that? You think that they're not hearing what's being said? You think they don't hear it? They hear everything you say. And then they'll give you a breadcrumb. They'll give you a press pass. Hold on. They'll get you some of these so that you can go in right there. And for those who think I'm bullshitting, right there you go. United States national team. They'll get you some of those. And then they'll go, and then they'll get you. They'll say, oh, well, since you said something nice about Arteta, you can sit down. But when you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to get in the room anyway. And you're lucky I forgot to go find that picture when I was in the room with Jurgen Klinsmann, sitting there at a press conference with him. Lucky I forgot to go find that this morning. Been there, thank you. Been there, done that. This is why I'm so hard on folks like this. Because as a former journalist, your job is to put out the truth. It's not to kiss somebody's ass until your mouth is brown. It's an absolute disgrace when you got folks out here like this that play on the people, that play on the gullible fans that don't know. And then they try to they turn around and then they try to make the situation that's already bad better than what it is. They say, he's doing this, he's doing that. When we know we're in dire straits. This is year 6, year 3, year 4. This is an absolute scandalous.
Would you change the Sesko? Because it seems like you
watch this.
So the Sesko thing was slightly different, where at the beginning of the window.
How is it different when you just said there was no striker outside of Kai Havertz that could get anything done? You see how he just contradicted himself immediately? Because he knows that if I say anything about Sesko, because Sesko could possibly be a target, now all of a sudden I've stepped in the mud. This is why I say they know what they're doing. He's trying to play both sides of the fence. Get the splinters out your ass, as we say down here. Absolute disgrace.
Arsenal saw Benjamin Šeško with a buyout clause as an opportunity to land who they thought potentially is going to be the next European top striker. The other striker that was on the market was Victor Gyökeres, potentially an £84 million release clause. But after one season in the Portuguese league, with respect to the Portuguese league, are you going to make an £84 million jump just a few seasons off?
But we'll make a $65 million jump for Kai Havertz. In the same vein, he says Why would we go after a player that's important in the Portuguese league? See, this is what these jokers do. They want to talk down to these other leagues. Farmers leagues. Shout out to league, Camels leagues. They want to talk down to these other leagues. Want to talk down. You know, I was listening to Potts yesterday, and I got some stuff from that too. I was listening to Potts yesterday, and the question was asked, when if Liverpool ever went out and spent money on a play? Luis Suarez? Oh, but y'all don't rate that league. Because most of y'all weren't born in the 90s to see them whip everybody's ass. And in the 80s and the 70s to see Cruyff do his thing. So most of y'all don't know. You see how he shits on Jokeris? Oh, it's the Portuguese league with respect to the Portuguese league. Are you willing to put 84 million down? But you'll put 65 million down on Kai Havertz. They would do anything to defend him and that manager. This is a symptomatic problem that is in this football club. Paul, 100%. Right there. That's what, you know what we call that, Paul? That's a backhanded comment, what he just did. That is a backhanded comment. And Rebecca, you're 100%, excuse me, Rabona, you're 100% correct. These, especially the last few games of the Club World Cup. I don't know how many times I have to tell people, or Lee has to tell people, we have sat up until the sun has come up on us, and we have watched players in leagues across the whole of the world. There are players all over this world that are ready to play football. And if I was this brother that's on the show sitting across from Tom Cannon on this, I would have quietly looked at him and said, well, what does that say about him playing for Motherwell and playing for Coventry? Excuse me, I'm thinking about Mika Burrell. When I say Motherwell, I'm thinking about Mika Burrell. But for Jokeris, playing over at Coventry. And that wasn't no sneeze of a season, by the way. How you notice how that gets lost? They never bring up about he actually was over there, over here playing. Then he leaves, then he goes to Portugal. The question needs to be asked, well, wait a minute. He's so damn good. Portugal came and got him. He's the import. They're acting like Jokeris is the import to British football. He was the import. They came and got him and brought him over there. And then he went and excelled. See, they'll do anything to fit their narrative. This is why I said they'll fit anything. They'll say anything.
You spent £72 million on Nicolas Pepe and it's not worked out. When Arsenal have gone really big on players, other than Declan Rice, it's not necessarily worked out.
But Arsenal have gone really big though. Arsenal went really big with Ben White. How much experience did Ben White have when you bought £50 million? Arsenal gone big in the past. I just think that this is very close to the Premier League. And Man City are doing things that we've never seen before. Even Alex Ferguson's Manchester United team weren't as dominant as this City team. And to get you over the line, I think you need an X factor. And I talked about how great Arsenal were against City last season. I think the biggest hurdle for Arsenal is going to the Etihad and winning. I haven't done that since Santi Cazorla played for you. And and I think you go there and do that with a top striker. I remember Chelsea in the 16-17 season, we played against a Man City team that were very, very good. We went there and it was a smash and grab. We scored goals on the counter-attack because we had Diego Costa, we had X-Factors, we had Eden Hazard, we had Willian. And Diego Costa scored the first goal.
That is my favourite Arsenal player.
A couple of years ago when they did.
I want y'all to watch this too. Watch this.
It was good one plays a false nine. Apart from those examples, every other Premier League team that wins a title.
Quite a few examples though,
But apart from that, you need a number 9 who's going to score you goals and win you the league title.
I hear what you're saying. Last season, the last time we beat Man City away from home, you pointed out Santi Cazorla, Olivier Giroud, amazing. Santi is my favourite Arsenal.
Now he said Santi Cazorla is his favorite Arsenal player. Remember I told y'all earlier? Remember what I told y'all earlier? What did I say earlier about it, Miguel? I told you sometimes you have to listen and then you have to really sit down and think about it. Now, if you've been supporting Arsenal for 20 plus years, this is definitely no knock on Santi Cazorla because I like Santi. Santi was a good player. Great player. Great player. Need him in the team now. We could have used him, especially if he stay healthy. No telling what he would have did. But this brother Canton just said, "Oh, he's my favorite Arsenal player of all time." So you mean to tell me he bypasses Dennis Bergkamp? If you've been watching the club all these years, now that's what I said. Bypasses Dennis Bergkamp, bypasses T.T. Henry, bypasses Patrick Vieira, bypasses Tony Adams, bypasses all these players. Santi Cazorla is the best, your favorite Arsenal player. This is why I said, you have to start questioning, when did these people start supporting the football club? When? Because that don't even make logical sense. That's like saying, "Oh, I like Nirvana, but the drummer is bro, you don't like Kurt Cobain?" I mean, come on, seriously. Seriously. Let's get real, man. These Arsenal fans are outrageous. They are outrageous. And it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. But before we do that, I want to show y'all this. Because this is what they do. This is what they do. When you start to get them right there, and you got them, they move they remember Charlie Brown? They move the ball. They change it. They change it every single time. They change it. They change it. They pull it out of the way. You're getting ready to kick up. No. That's what they do. Our fan base moves the goalpost. They move the ball. They move it all the time. They do it all the time. And it doesn't matter what time of day. It doesn't matter what time of day. Where is it at? Like I said, we're going down the list. There's more. I've got a few. Let's see, which one do I want to go with first? Let's go with this one.
Absolutely.
Let's go with this one here. Let's get him lined up. Watch this right here. Watch this goalpost moving. Watch this goalpost moving right here. Watch this.
Babs and Danny, thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Is it Babs Son Dammy? It's so hard with these apps. I need to work out how I change this back. I'm going to get onto StreamYard later and work it out. But thank you so much for your kind membership and support the channel. But yes, this 11, Raya, Timber, if he's available and back from his injury, obviously he had surgery. Saliba, Gabriel, again, dependent upon that injury situation. Luis Skelly, Zubamendi, Rice, Ødegaard, Saka, Havertz. I'd hope Rodrigo or Eze, but it's probably going to end up being Martinelli and Trossard for the start, because I think the left wing one will be the one that runs on. Even if we sign Gyökeres and Sesko, I don't personally see either of them necessarily ousting Havertz straight away.
Y'all hear this? What planet? I told y'all. Hey, when y'all go in the chat, what planet are you from? What planet are you from? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? What he just said? Did you hear what this brother just said? This brother just said we can sign both of them, either one of them, and it doesn't matter. This is why I said you have to start asking the question: when did you start watching football? When did you start watching football? On what planet there's a player that scored damn near 70 goals, probably over 100 in the last 3 years, and he can't get into the side because of a player that scored 14, 12, 11, and 1 or 2 headers here or there? Ralph, that's exactly what he's doing. He's tap dancing. He is shuffling. He is flat-footed shuffling. I told y'all, these fans are absolutely outrageous. 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 And when you hear stuff like that, you have to start looking around like, am I going crazy? Did I just hear that? Yeah, you heard what you heard.
From that centre forward position, I really do feel Arteta sees Havertz as the number one centre forward. And I don't think either of Sesko or Gyökeres is a massive improvement.
Did you hit them right there? He doubles down on it. He doubles down on it. He doubled down. He doubled down. He said he don't see him as an upgrade over Kai Havertz. This is what's in the fan base. This is what's in the fan base. Absolute madness.
Emotional damage.
There's a lot of damage been done here. He believes, and look at his face, he believes every last bit of what he said. Thomas believes everything he said. What planet are you from? And when did you start watching football? Because last year before last, in the year before that, shout out to the Ivan Toney, to the carpet committee, we were saying we needed a striker. And you want to know how all this is real bullshit, y'all? It's because we was asking for a striker before Kai Havertz even showed up. We've been looking for a striker before Kai Havertz even got to the club. So this is how I know this whole tripe about Kai Havertz is bullshit. It's all because they want to get some of that Arteta hope. Well, I'm going to show you what that hope is in just a second. That's what they want. They want some more of it. These people like this are the single solitary reason why we don't have any world-class players in the football club. Think about that. 6 years on, and we have not signed one single solitary world-class football player. World-class, not good, not great, not almost. World-class player. This brother here is one of the sole reasons. And this is why I said what I said earlier. You don't have to kiss ass to get to the top. You can get there on merit.
On Havertz. So that for me is, Agoon says, in the final third, Tom, it isn't. I don't know what, again, I don't know what you've been watching, but aerially, in the final third, Arsenal rank incredibly high when it comes to aerial presence, offensive.
Aerial presence. See here, he likes to talk to the fans, talk to his fan base like that. Aerial, it's almost like he talks like Pink Panther. Well, what's my character? What's my character? He used to the heavens, the Megatron. That's how he talks. This guy is shot out, man. He's shot out. This is what we say in the hood. He's shot out, man. This brother's done. Snagglepuss. This is what I'm thinking about. Snagglepuss. Heaven is the Megatron, Aerially, he's way up the top. Thank you, Al. Yeah, he's heaven is the Megatron,
And have done for the last.
Let's get him over here. There's another one we got to get to. Like I said, we're going down the list this morning. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Much love. 212 in the building. 212 in the building. Oh yeah, let's go to him. Let's get this one. This will be a quick and easy one. This won't take long. Let's go ahead and get him. Bring him to the carpet. Let's bring him to the carpet. This is another one. This is what I call the slick. He's the slick Arteta fan. You got to watch him. Them ones you got to watch real close. You got to listen to everything they say.
So, yeah.
And I don't rate him at all. I don't rate Mourinho. He's better than him.
Watch this now. Watch this.
You have to ask your question. You know,
watch this one right here.
We're a big club. We're a massive club. Okay, one of the biggest in Europe, one of the biggest in the country, and we're going after players like Norgard. Liverpool wouldn't even consider him. Man City wouldn't even
going after like he was our number one target, though, DJ.
Man United wouldn't even consider him.
50 million to be a backup.
You know,
you already said, he said we didn't pay him 15. We're paying 15 million to be a backup. Let's go back here.
Million to be a backup.
You know, and I hear wouldn't even consider him.
50 million to be a backup.
You know, and I hear people saying about it to be a come down joining Man United. No, it ain't. It'd be great. Any player that plays for Manchester United, biggest club in the world.
Let me tell. I'm glad DJ B brought that up on there, because a lot of people like to throw sand on Manchester United. It's about right, you know, for us 40 plus, it's a rivalry. So I understand if you want to throw mud on them, but let's not forget that is Manchester United. Even in the shittiest of shit years of Manchester United, even in the shittiest of shit years of Manchester United, they have found success, consistent success. But even when they're bad, they find a way to be good. They find a way. And this is why I've told people are going into next season. Oh, Manchester United is going to be in the mud. See, the difference in their fan base and our fan base is they've got a short tolerance for bullshit. If they're not where they need to be, if they lose the first game against us, oh, he's under fire. He's got 3 games to get it right. They'll rip the stadium down. They're not going to put up with another season of what they had last year. They're not going to put up with it. And so if they have a chance to sign a player, that player's probably going to do. He's probably going to go. Because it's Manchester United. At some point, I'm going to be trying to challenge for something. In their mind, at some point, I'm looking to do something. We have to try to sell people. You know how Arsenal has to get players? We have to overpay. We'll get to that too. We overpay. It's a fact. It's a known fact. We overpay. Overpay to play. That's what we do. Overpay.
No matter what position they are in the league, no matter what problems they're going in, it's dreamland. Even Man United wouldn't even go to Norgard.
Yeah, but we didn't just sign Norgard. We're signing Zubimendi as well. Like, you guys are just saying Norgard as if to say he.
Yeah, but we need a squad. We haven't won anything.
You just said we don't need.
I don't want to sit. I don't want to sit at the Emirates.
See, even look at Poli. Look at Poli. Lee just could, you know. Lee's thinking to himself, shit, I'm up all night doing these games. I'm up, you know. I can't be bothered with trying to have to deal with this. It wear on you. Trying to deal with these Artetas that they wear on you. It wears on you. Because they don't see logic. They live in a fantasy world. It's a fantasy world that Harry Potter could only dream of. It's a land that only he could dream of. Past that. It's past that. It's fairy dust. And when you try to reason with these folks, there is no reasoning. We saw it earlier with Evil Legal. There is no reasoning. They don't see it. They don't see it. D said, oh, well, we're bringing in Zubimendi and Norgard. But we're letting one player leave the club. We're letting a qualified player leave the club. How, in the chat, interaction time, put a 1 in the chat if you remember how long we went without a defensive midfielder under Wenger. because we couldn't count on Diaby because Diaby kept getting injured. Good as he was, never stayed healthy. How many years did we struggle with a DM? And how many people remember when we signed Thomas Partey, how excited we were because we finally got a out-and-out defensive midfielder that actually played defensive midfielder? There was a lot of years. This is why, once again, what I tell y'all to start doing, asking these people, how long have you supported Arsenal? Because an Arsenal fan would have knew that we hadn't had an defensive midfielder for decades. Granit Xhaka was not an out-and-out defensive midfielder. He was a stopgap that we just ran with. People forget this stuff. They throw it up. They throw it up because they're so excited over the new shiny toy. They're excited. I'm so excited. I can't hurt it. That's this fan base. They're so excited. So when you try to tell them, hey, when DJ B's trying to make the point that, hey, we need a full, robust squad of players that are ready to go. Legit, ready to go. Not hand-me-downs. Zubamendi, I'm not saying is a hand-me-down. Zubamendi is a good player. But the problem with Zubamendi is he's coming into the league his first year. The game is going to be much quicker, much more physical. And he has trouble with distribution out of the back. In 22, 23, 21, what was our biggest problem up on Arteta? What was the biggest problem under Arteta? Distribution out the back. Why? Because people knew we had trouble getting the ball from back to front. So what they did was they apply massive pressure. We turn the ball over. We're constantly going. We're constantly having to do double work or play from behind. Nobody forgets that. Nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers that having to go that we went through that. Not one person. We're repeating the same problems that we did. I've long said that from the year we bought the league was the year. Those 2 years were critical in which we needed to add to the team. We needed 2 teams. That's when you sign players like Zubamendi. That's when you sign players like Sesko. Back then, with the windows closing and now we're going to get them. That means you're going to mess yourself up another 2 or 3 years. Nobody wants to have these discussions. And look how they turned on Thomas Partey. They said he was old, injury prone, should be grateful, cost too much money, yet we still paying Kai Havertz. This is what you deal with. This is what you're dealing with.
When Zubamendi gets a red card, God forbid, or he gets injured.
So who do you think we should have signed as a backup?
And
Who
I'm
do you think
looking at the bench and I'm seeing Norgard run onto the
So
field.
who do you think we should have signed as a backup?
And they do that all the time. Who do you think we should have signed? How about you tell us who we should have signed as a backup? That's not the person that's coming in the door. They can't tell you that because they don't watch anything outside Arsenal. They don't watch any football outside of Arsenal. Most of these folks didn't know who Zubamendi was until Liverpool started chasing them. They had no clue who that was. Didn't even realize that Odegaard played in the team with him. Didn't even realize Isak played in the team with him. Didn't even realize it. That's how closed off these people are from reality in the world around them. They were locked into Arsenal. I told you the average Arsenal fan does not watch football outside of Arsenal fan. Not a shot at anybody in the chat. I'm talking about these top gooners. The average top gooner, let me phrase it that way, does not watch football outside of Arsenal. So when we get linked to these players, or these players come in, they take them to the moon. They take them to the moon. So then when you look at the player, if you run into somebody from the parent club, the team that player is coming from, and say, hey, man, what you think about that player? Oh, man, I'm glad y'all took him off our hand. Glad y'all took him off our hand. And if you don't believe me, we'll come back to this in just a second. If you don't believe me, look right there. Right here. Right there. They'll gas up anything. This fan base will gas up anything. Six players, 6 of the last 7 seasons. We've gone shopping at Chelsea. On what planet is this acceptable? Only at Arsenal do you see this kind of behavior. Only at Arsenal do you see this kind of behavior. And they'll tell you right here, they'll say, oh, you see that? Look at the last 4 signings from Chelsea. Just look at the last 4. Leave these alone. Just to cut that off and go, leave that alone. Let's go right here. Look at the last 4 signings from Chelsea Football Club. And they'll tell you, hey, man, we going places with this team. We're not even going to buy. You know, back in the day, you would get the upstart, whoever the upstart goalkeeper is, the guy that, you know, might be the next decent goalkeeper. You know, you would go get that guy. You know, Oliver Kahn was the man. Jens Lehmann was there. Then you had what's his name over at Bayern Munich? He was there. Then you look over there, you see Oblak, you know, he doing this thing. You know, for my old heads in the chat, you see Dieter doing this thing back in the day. You go get, you know, the guys that was right before they got ready to hit bid. You say, you know what, let's bring him in, you know. We're slowly turning into a retirement home for Chelsea Football Club. Land of old men. Guys like Norgard. The injury history alone should concern you. And I've said this before. If that's the best that Thomas Frank was able to pull out of that gentleman, then you explain to me what Arteta's going to pull out of it. What is Arteta going to pull out of that player? This is outrageous stuff we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. This is outrageous stuff that we're seeing.
But before DJ answers that, sorry to cut in there, right? Why do they have to be a backup? Because this is the difference between the top teams and the rest of us. Man City rotate their team all the time.
We're not Man City. You keep doing it. People keep doing it.
No. But D, we're a bigger football club than Man City.
Well,
yeah,
we spend until Man City spend money. Man City spent money.
January.
Man City and Chelsea have spent money for the last few years. On untold amounts
until January just gone.
We can't spend 100 million on Grealish to sit on the bench. We can't do that. You know that.
No, you can because the 2 teams you just mentioned, right? Number 1, we outspent Man City up until January last year.
No, it's
right? And number 2, if you let me finish, otherwise I'm just gonna fuck this off. So I don't need to be here. I've got more important things to be doing. Yeah. So unless you're gonna let me talk, I ain't even gonna bother sitting here, mate. Yeah. Let's just be real, because every time I speak, Christian talks over me. All right, it's jarring. Yeah. Real talk. Yeah, at the end of the day, the reason them 2 clubs, Chelsea and Man City, keep spending money and can have the money to spend is because they run their academy right. They sell players better than us. We've let all of our academy players walk out of this club for nothing. They've all gone, one of them's at Ipswich now. Chelsea made 24 million off him. We gave him away for free to Chelsea. Yeah, Murray Hutchinson. Yeah, we let, what's his name? Obi Martin go Man United for free. They go and get 10 million for him now if they want. Yeah, Aiden Heaven, he walked out for free. They could go and get 30 million for him now if they want. Yeah, and this is why when people want to sit there and say you're linking, D said it, you're linking all these things together.
Go back right quick. I want y'all to watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody know what I'm about to do, put a 1 in the chat. Because you got to catch it. I told y'all, if you watch these people close enough, if you watch them close enough, you know when they know the argument is done. If you watch behavior, if you saw what I saw, put a 1 in the chat. Because I saw it. We saw it earlier today. We saw it earlier for those who've been in the chat with us. Earlier, we saw it again. We saw it again. You ready? Y'all ready for me to drop it again? You ready? Lee, you didn't even catch this yesterday. You didn't catch it. Watch this right here. I want y'all to watch this. Watch this. Watch Christian.
Number 2, if you let me finish it, otherwise I'm just going to fuck this off, so I don't need to be here. I've got more important things to be doing. Yeah, so unless you're going to let me talk, I ain't even going to bother sitting here, mate. Yeah, let's.
All right, right there. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Look at that right there. Let's
just for real, because every time I speak, Christian talks over me.
Watch this now.
All right, it's jarring. Yeah.
And then he does that right there. What am I doing? Now watch this. Watch this now.
Real talk. Yeah, at the end of the day.
All right, look at it. That is right there. That's that smile. He's ready to troll. He's ready to go into troll mode. I told you, when you see that smile, when you see that raw smile right there, that means they are ready to come. Evil Christian has been unlocked. Evil Christian has been unlocked. Right there. Yeah, that's it. When you see that, that means you remember anybody used to watch Mario Povich back in the day. You know, we all used to watch trash TV back in the day, and they would have the cat that would be on with the chick. And he loved the woman. He'd be like, oh, man, I really love you, whatever. And then he'd come out and say, you are not the father. And then they would go, oh, the crowd would go, oh, and they zoom in on that dude. And then he get mad. He'd be like, and then he smile. Because he knew he was getting ready to go evil. That's exactly what you see right there. Evil. I'm about to get that Michael Jackson Thriller video laugh. Because that's what you see right there. Ready to go.
The reason them 2 clubs, Chelsea and Man City, keep spending money and can have the money to spend is because they run their academy right. They sell players better than us. We've let all of our academy players walk out of this club for nothing. They've all gone, one of them's at Ipswich now. Chelsea made 24 million off him.
He's shaking his head. What? Look at him. Look at him shaking his head.
Gave him away for free to Chelsea. Yeah. Oh, Murray Hutchinson. Yeah. We let what's his name? Them Obi Martin go Man United for free. They go and get 10 million for him now if they want. Yeah. Aiden Heaven, he walked out for free. They could go and get 30 million for him now if they want. Yeah. And this is why when people want to sit there and say you're linking, D said it, you're linking all these things together. Yeah, I'm linking all these things together because they are linked, bro. If we're not selling well, and we're allowing players to walk for free, whether that be academy and or first team.
Look at him shaking his head. He's so inundated. He's not listening to a word Lee said. Because if he did, he would have heard good sense. He would have heard him say, so kind of in his head, 30 million here, 30 million, 20 million. Wow, we could have probably had some money in the coffers. But instead, all he thinks of is, Norgard and Zubamendi and Kepa. That's what's coming in. What are you complaining about? That's all that's on his mind. The fact of the matter is, we're not a good selling football club. We've got players here on astronomical wages. We've got players who shouldn't be making what they're making, and it's caught up to us. And so now all of a sudden, people want to dismiss that stuff. But I want to talk about the hypocrisy, the total hypocrisy of some of this fan base. The hypocrisy. Check this out. They say if he, this is from AFTV. They say if he really wanted a release clause, get lost. I'm not signing you. But in that, see, this is why I say you have to, all of it, you have to really pull it back. But they want Jokeris. They want us to activate a release clause. So it's okay if we're activating the release clause. How did we get Thomas Partey? How did we get Thomas Partey to the football club? How? With what? What did we pay? Oh, we got him by what? A release clause. A release clause. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but the fact that they don't want him to have a release clause tells you what? In case it doesn't work out, we're stuck with the player. Kind of like we are with Kai Havertz. Stuck with the player. But we know this. But we know this. It is absolutely outlandish. He wants to release clause. Oh, we don't want him. But y'all wanted this guy. A lot of folks wanted this guy. Y'all know I'm in Jokeris camp. But they wanted this guy. They wanted Sesko. Sesko comes out and says, I want a release clause. Oh, we don't want him now. But then they say, well, go buy Jokeris. Well, he has a release clause. No problem there. Okay, cool. Gotcha. I want to bring this up. As a neutral, Matt, I think Nodegaard is a very good player. In the outrage reaction slightly feels forced. Nobody said he's a bad player. It's just that you have to ask yourself, is that the player that's going to get us to the title? Is that player going to get us to a title in year 6? Year 2, year 3, you bringing in somebody like that? I might say, okay, I'll give you a pass. We're talking year 6 now. Thomas Partey, he's coming in. Thomas Partey's going out, he's coming in. That's where you have to have a discussion at. That's what the root of it is. We're letting someone who's completely proven, walk away for free. By the way, that goes back to Lee's argument. That's another one free out the door, tearing out the door. Free. We're letting players free. Is he an upgrade? Is he a level raiser, as some like to say? That's where the discussion starts at. That's where the discussion starts at. But when you got people like this, running around the football club, and they're going on talking about football. You know, we know it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. Uphill battle. Where is it at? Let's see. Where is it at? Let me see here. Where did I put it? I knew I saved it. Damn it. I still want to show this too if I could find it. I don't know where I put it. I got so many of these clips lined up, ready to go. But you got people like that running around the club, causing all kinds of chaos. And then You've got. I tell you what, we'll go to this instead because I can't find the other one. I can't. Let me see. Where is it at? Let's double check here. This it. Let me see what this is. I think this might be it.
When
Let me see. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. All right. I can't find it. I can't find it. He's lucky I can't find it. You're lucky I can't find it. But we do have this brother. When you have folks like this running around the football club. Here we go. And this is hot off the press.
Zooby doo, he chose us over you. He had the whole world at his feet, but we need a striker too to make our dream come true if we're gonna win the league. Zooby doo, he fucking hates the Blues and he thinks Madrid are freaks. Said no to Liverpool and he's magic on the ball. I hope he'll be our Rodri.
That is what's infested. You ever been outside your house and you got your floor mat that's been outside in the elements, rain, wind, all that stuff, and then you pull it up to look up under there and you see caterpillars and all kind of bugs and stuff. This is what, when you get to this right here, you guess what level you at now. You at that level. When you get to this kind of stuff, you're down there, the muck and the mire. Then it's rough. It's rough. That's the roughest. You got to start pressure washing that kind of stuff to get it cleaned up. That's where you are. When you start seeing this kind of stuff, grown ass men singing like he's in grade school, like he's in preschool. This is what's in the football club. This is what's in the football club. And then you got folks like this. Let me take this off of here. Let's bring this one up. And that's let's just be real. Let's just be real. All of that is to try to get attention. That's a cry for attention. What you just saw, that's a cry. Look at me. Look at me. And you know what the sad part about this is, ladies and gentlemen? They're all trying to outdo each other. They're all trying to go, who can be the most outrageous? Who can be the most outrageous to get their attention? Who can be the most outrageous? The most outrageous. The most outrageous. Here we go. Here's another one.
Facts. But now, this is why I wanted you to see it. Because look at Chelsea's squad. Look how many players are on £2,000 a week. They'll sell that guy for 15 million. They'll sell this guy for 12, 10, 7, 9, 4, 16, 10. Yeah, he's on £7,000 a week. He scored yesterday. They could sell him for 30 million right now. Yeah, he's on £7,500. Yeah, look at all these players. 20 grand. Yeah, Malo Gusto, 45. Lavia, 45. If we signed Romeo Lavia, it'd be on 100. Yeah. Noni Madueke, 50. If we signed him, he's on 130. Wow. Look at this.
This is definitely an eye opener. I mean,
it's an eye opener. Why is it an eye opener, Lee African?
I don't think a lot of Arsenal fans spend enough time to look at the details.
No, they don't, because they're too busy sucking off the manager.
But at the end of the day, like, we as fans are like, people say we shouldn't be focused on these things, right? Like, we're not.
No, but we should be.
But of course, these are important, and it's part of the reasons that we're in.
So now watch this then, yeah? Watch this. Arsenal's wage structure, yeah? This is for the season we're still on, because it don't finish until the 1st of July. So this is going to, all these numbers down here for years remaining is going to drop by 1, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so look how much money from the start of the season in August, the one we've just ended, yeah? Last year, 24-25 season, yeah? Look how much money we still owe to Jesus and 29. That is £99.5 million in wages if they go the length of their contract. That's without Odegaard, that we owe 50 million to. That's without Declan, 50 mil. Obviously, that's from the start of August last year, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Thomas Partey's leaving. He's left for nothing. Cheers. 95 million was spent on him from wages and fee. He's walked out for free. Lovely. Then Bukayo Saka, cool. Fair enough. Yeah, academy boy. But guess what? He's only got 2 years left from the 1st of July. William Saliba, he's only got 2 years left from the 1st of July. They're both on 190, 195.
Signed a new contract, by the way.
Fairs. Yeah. Now look at this. Gabriel Martinelli, 180 grand a week. How are you getting any money for this guy? Yeah, for top dollar, because nobody's going to pay over 130 million for the package deal to get the guy. Now look at this. Zinchenko, from the 1st of July, he has 1 year left. We'll get about 12, 13 million for him if we're lucky. Yeah. Ben White, 150. Mikel Merino, 130.
Look at the face. When the reality sets in, and me and the African Goon, we've had a spat or two on Twitter, especially during that PSG semifinal. Not a bad guy, but the problem is he wants to be seen and noticed. And what did I tell y'all earlier? I just showed y'all the press passes. Y'all seen them yourself. You don't have to suck the club off on every single thing they do. Just have merit. Just do what you want to do. It's okay to say, hey, man, our wage bill is a little outrageous. Don't you think that's going to hinder us? And then when you see the eye opening, this is how he's looking. He realizes, shit, I've never seen this. Never looked at this.
Ricardo Calafiori, 120. Sterling's obviously gone. Jorginho's gone. Tierney's gone. Tomiyasu, 100 grand a week. Oh, by the way, unless he signs another new deal, then he's leaving next season.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We probably won't get crap for him.
And we'll get nothing for him. So that'll be another waste of about 45, 50 million because Tierney cost us over 45, 50 million.
Unlucky with injuries. I mean, I feel like that
one. He's been fit for years, but no, he's actually factually had less injuries and less days out than Tomiyasu, Thomas Partey, Alexander Zinchenko, and Gabby Jesus. Factually, since they've all joined the club, Kieran Tierney's been fit for longer than they have. But it's a thing that sticks with Tierney. Oh, he's always injured. Yeah. No, he's not. No, he's actually not. And do you know what? He's the very last player that started that FA Cup final that we won. Yeah. He's now left. There's not a single FA Cup winner that started that final or played in that final that is still at this football club. Now go and have a look at the team, the squad that started and played. Every single one of them, by Lacazette and Rob Holding, has won a trophy since they've left.
And see, this is what, when you bring that stuff up to folks like Christian and D, and you try to get them to see that, they don't understand that the assets, we lack assets to sell. So Bird is coming in. I mean, he's looking at the team. There's nothing to sell. So we have, I mean, Kenny Ken has said it time and time. We have to sell before we buy. We have to sell before we buy. And then when the reality shows that you let Kieran Tierney walk out the door for free, you let Thomas Partey walk out the door for free. We spent money to bring in two bodies. I mean, like seriously, we're back in the same situation we were in years ago. It's a mess. Edu and Arteta was running them up all over the place, just creating chaos. And now it's coming home to roost. And if we don't win anything this year, it's going to really be a lot of chaos because then players are going to start demanding the league. People are going to start looking, not renewing contracts, and they're going to be heading out the door. This is what he's starting to realize. They don't want to face the reality that this wage structure, because they know that wage structure plays right into why we're doing what we're doing. And it doesn't help when you've got the manager coming out doing this kind of stuff at the end of the season. He's coming out saying everything is planned. The moment I started to think about it, it feels like goosebumps. This is true. There's nothing to say. It's like literally, brother. 100%. It's literally like You having a you know, at your house, you're trying to figure out what you want to sell out the garage. It's like, well, man, I got this little thing here, man. You know, maybe I can get $5 for it. That's how our transfers are. Maybe I can get 2 for it. What's your best offer? And see, when the manager came out and said this at the end of the season, I told people this is all this is. We take what he said here, and this is in reality. This is what you see. This is what you see, but this is the reality. This is the reality. Where is it at? Where is he at? I'm going to show you what the reality. That's what you see right there. But the reality is this right here. This is the truth of what he's doing. He's out here dealing hope. He's out here dealing hope. He's out here giving everybody their supply of hope. Come one, come all. I got your hope. How many bags you want? Egal getting about 15 bags of hope. Pinker's getting about 30 bags of hope. Tom Cannon, he said, I'll buy all of it. All of them. They high on hope. What happens when you come down off that high? Reality hits you. You're still faced with the same problems that you were dealing with. You still dealing with the same problems you had before you got that high. This is it. That's why I said all of them. Send me out, all of them. They get that hope. They get the hope. They get that blue magic. If you know, you know. And then they take that hope, they take this hope, and they distribute it all over Twitter. So now you got hope all in the streets. Hope all in the streets. You got folks like this brother here. Where is he at here? We'll come back there. We'll come back there. This brother right here. This brother right here. This brother right here. I'm gonna let y'all see this brother right here. Right here. He's about my age. 81. He's about my age or close to. This brother here. Let's go back. Let's go all the way back to last year. Let's go back to last year. He says, we have had a brilliant season. But have just been City have been just slightly better. I'm so proud of this Arsenal team. We have the 3rd youngest squad that they have produced this year. And what they have produced this year has been amazing. I love my manager. Hold on. Let me go back. Where is he at? Let's bring him back out. Bring him back out. It's that hope. That's the hope I'm telling y'all about right there. That's the hope. That's the hope. Goes back. Let me take this down right quick. He says, congratulations, Man City, deserved champions. They have the best squad and manager. No shame in coming second to them with the league's 3rd youngest team. Notice how you keep going back to the youngest team, the youngest team, the youngest team, the youngest team, the youngest team. Youngest team. Then we scroll up. He says, he reposts Ian Wright. Get in. That's a big win. All of you moaning fans, there's no need to stop bitching and back out. No, all you need to stop bitching and back our players and managers. But then you see what the reality of the situation really is. That's why I say you got to have receipts on these folks.
For the last 15 years, no matter what celebrity I've met, The next question from all my family and friends is, have you met Ian Wright yet?
That's just what they want to do. This is what they want to do. They want to be seen and they want to meet these people. They want to meet these people. Then he goes up, he says, it's fine that people hate us. It's part of our history. Of course, George Graham. There's so much negativity on here at halftime. This is apparently during the game. I watched the Invincibles. They didn't play brilliant every game. They had a knack of grinding games out. If Twitter was around then, you would be criticizing Henri and Bergkamp. This is why I said you had to go all the way back. All the way back. Here we go. But then you start seeing the reality. When I told y'all, when you get that hope. You get that hope. You get that high. You start doing this now. You start doing all that. Start getting that high. I need it, man. I need it, brother. I need it. Arteta, give me some of it, man. I need it. I need it. I'm running out of coming down off the high. So they get that hope. Then that hope starts to come down. Then that reality starts to hit. The truth is, what has happened to Odegaard? This is in February this year. What has happened to Odegaard? The same problem you was dealing with when you was on that high is still there. That same problem that you were dealing with while you were on the high is still there. Watch this. The truth is, us Arsenal fans just have to swallow this season and take all the banner thrown our way. It's not great right now, but it's definitely not all bad. Watch how they shifted. Let's hope that the board goes big in the summer and we can get some sweet revenge next year. How about we hope this Magic gets his ass in gear? Notice they shift all blame. All blame is shifted for the manager. They protect the manager because he provides them with the high. The man keeps supplying them with what they need. So they're not going to turn against the dealer. They're not going to turn against the dealer. But y'all look at, you know what? Hold on. See if I got it on here. Let me see if I can switch over right quick. I got this on from another one for something else here. My boy Allen here. He'll know what this from. Right here we go.
Priest, all I do is sell coke, man. I don't do no violence. I don't mess with no fire.
Don't argue with me, man. I'm trying to give you a chance.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Arteta is running these streets just like that, man. And these fans are out here looking for that hope. And I'm telling you, man, it's the most craziest thing I've ever seen. The most craziest thing I've ever seen. We can moan about PGMOL. Bad luck for our disappointing season. The truth is, watch this right there. The truth is, we went into the campaign with a small squad, and when we chose not to sign anyone in January, we gave up the league. Now we're feeling the repercussions of those decisions. What did I tell y'all? I said when they come down off the hope, the problem is still there. You can take all the hope you want. You can shoot yourself with all the hope that you want. When you come down off that high, the problem is still there. You ain't solved nothing. You ain't solved nothing. And this is what the majority of this fan base is consistently going through. That, my friend, is what 90% of what this fan base is going through. They're on this high. They're on a high. And they can't get off of it. They have taken that high. They will protect the man. They will protect that manager. They will protect everything that this team football club does. Let me see here, just to show y'all. Where is it at here? Let's go right here. Let's go to this one. Let's go to, I think it's this one. Let me see. I think this one is. I'm trying to see which one I want to go with here. We're gonna go with. Let me see. I think we're gonna go with this one. I got some good ones here. That's what I'm struggling with trying to figure out which one we want to go with here. Yeah, we'll go with this one. This is the one we'll go with. Because this is what happens when they want to provide. See, Arteta provides them with the hope. And then once they get the hope, they redistribute the hope. You know, they might mark it up 20%, 30%. But they standing out on that corner and they say, hey, man, how much hope you need, man? Hey, man, I'm feeling, bro. We ain't got no signings in, man. It's July 1st, the 2nd, brother. All we got is a Kepa, man. What you got for me? Man, I got you, man. I got your hope right here, man. I got your hope, man. You got some, man? Yeah, man. Here's a nickel bag of hope right here. And then this is what you get. This is what you get right here. This is what you get right here. You start getting stuff like this. They provide you with just a little bit of hope. They provide you with the hope. Yeah, bro, man, from the 5th floor. Yeah. Yeah. This is it. Right here. They start trying to figure out ways to explain the unexplainable. This looks like a weather map, like something you would do tracking a hurricane. This is like something from Noah. This is where we are. Cannon and stats, just making up stuff. This is all geared towards trying to get some kind of access. Access somewhere. It is promise. It is absolutely madness. And they'll try to explain this stuff to you. You start seeing this kind of stuff. It gets crazier. Where's my screen at here? There we go. It gets even crazier. Then you start seeing this kind of foolishness. The Jorginho of 2-3 years ago, no, he would not be. The Jorginho or the last year, now I think he probably is. It felt like it was physically the end for him. Basically, you're just saying that he was washed. But look at all this stuff, right? Look at this. This looks like a chart when you go into the eye doctor. When you're going to the eye doctor, I think I need a new prescription, doc. I think I need a new prescription. A, C, E, G. Could you make that a little bit larger for me, please? That's what you're doing when you see this kind of stuff. That's what you're doing. this football club is in dire straits with fans like this. But this is part of the hope. But I told y'all, I said he provides them with the hope. They go into the internet streets and they distribute the hope. This is what they do. They do it on a consistent daily basis. They find ways to distribute hope. Like I told y'all. Let me take that one out. Take him out. Watch this. When I tell you that the hope is there. They're coming. They're coming. Right there. Christian Norgard to Arsenal on a cut price move for $11 million is a no-brainer. Good rotational partner for Zubimendi and experience for next season. This is the new one. Premier League proven leadership. Leadership. Brentford's captain. Elite ball winning. Top 5 in Premier League for tackles and interception. Elite ball winning. Now I've heard this one new one. I've heard progressive passing. That's been the newest one as of late. Progressive passing. Premier League proven. You know? Where is it at? Where is it at? What folder? Let me see. I put it in this one. Oh, here we go. When you hear them talk about progressive passing, this is what you need to be thinking about right here. Let me find it here. Let me find it. Show you what progressive passing is right here. This right here, my friends, is progressive passing.
I just want to talk about this one thing that really pisses me off about Pennsylvania drivers, especially. So I'm here in the far left lane. Now, if you're new to driving, typically the right lanes, the far right lane is typically for when you're trying to get off the highway or you're not in any kind of a rush. The middle lane is just kind of your typical cruising lane, and your left lane is your passing lane. Now, unfortunately, Pennsylvania drivers tend to think that this lane is specifically to cruise. But no, so I am actively passing people right now. This is what this lane is for. But you might be thinking, no, I'm going the speed limit. No one cares. This is the passing lane.
That's your passing lane. See, all that stuff they talking, that's bullshit. When you hear passing lane, that's jargon. Oh, the passing lane. He wraps the ball. He does all this. They do everything they can to explain failure. They do everything they can to explain. It is an absolute and utter sham. Utter sham. Absolute sham. And our fan base tries to explain everything that they do. So then you get stuff like this. And we'll rap on him. I actually save the best for last. Nah, I'm not even wasting my time with it. See, it's like that. It happens. See, when I just won't even deal with it. But we're gonna go here. We're gonna address this right here. This elephant in the room. Like I said, it's time for these people to be called out because a lot of times these people have sat here in the shadows, unchecked for years, completely unchecked for years, and they've been able to say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and then all of a sudden, when the facts are put upon them, then all of a sudden they go cry. Oh, you know. But when you got a track record like this, let me see here. Where is he at? Where is it at? Where is it at? It's in this folder. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to bring him up. We're going to bring him up. We're going to bring him up. Here we go. Right. Oh, hold on. Y'all bear with me here. There we go. right here.
Meltdowns. And you know what? I rate Kai Havertz a lot more than most people do, I would say. But at the same time, I would understand why someone like yourself would be incredibly frustrated going into a new season, having spent, if we did get Sesko, 70 odd million quid on a striker. I understand why you'd be frustrated if, despite doing that, he's still the one starting up top. But I think part of the reason, and again, this is not my opinion, I'm just trying to put myself in Arsenal's shoes, right? A lot of the time people mistake me putting myself in the club's shoes for a minute or trying to think through the prism that they do as me being, pro Arteta to the point where I'll never question. I've questioned him loads on this episode already, right? We're half an hour in.
Yeah.
My point here is that I think the way they will look at it is if Sesko has a higher ceiling and could be the guy for the next 5 or 6 years, and they believe they can mold him into a better player than what Gyökeres can be. The fact that they have Kai Havertz there.
See, we're back to that again. Back to that again. This is why I say it towards the end. Because we're back to that again. Remember that hope I told y'all? This is another way of distributing the hope. He's a distributor. He's a redistributor of hope. He has the hope. Now he's trying to pass it off again. Dan said, no, I'm not having any of that hope. No way. You're hearing buzzwords, ceiling raiders, all that stuff. You're hearing all these buzzwords, You're hearing it all. And the fact of the matter is that Harry is in a position where in the media where he does not call out the BS. He has to toe the company line. And the club knows this. They know this. They know this. 100%, Charles. All roads lead back to 29. Just think about this. Before Havertz got here, you never saw anybody defending players like the way they're defending this player. And this manager. I can go all the way back through. I don't recall it. Not to this level. Not to this level.
Will make them feel more comfortable in doing that and going down that route. Because they'll look at it and say, well, now we're bringing in a 22-year-old Benjamin Sesko for 65 million quid, 70 million quid, whatever it is. But actually, we're not solely reliant on him to provide goals from that centre-forward position now. He can share that burden and that responsibility with Kai Havertz until he's ready. Now, they will argue that if you get the goals that you need, it doesn't matter if...
Did y'all see Poe Dan? Y'all see Dan? Dan was just like, man, I have had it with this. Check this out.
Havertz until he's ready. Now, they will argue that if you get the goals that you need, it doesn't matter if 50% of them come from Sesko and 50% of them come from Havertz, as long as you get the outputs that you need. Me personally, I don't think that's the way to go.
No,
that's not the way I would go. But if they do go for Sesko, I'm almost certain that a big part of their thinking will be, yeah, but we can afford to take the slightly bigger risk because we've got Havertz there to support him. Now, again, that's not my opinion, but I think that's the way they look at it.
Don't you think this Havertz signing has been a disgrace, though, now? Like 65 M's, 290 grand a week. But it's a problem now, Harry. It's a problem now.
Why is it a problem?
He's on 200.
See. Why is it a problem? Dan's telling him. Don't you think it's a problem? Because Harry cannot see that we're shoehorning everything to fit Kai Havertz. When Kai Havertz isn't even worth Kai Havertz isn't even worth getting it sorted out. We're playing around a player that should be playing around the major player that's coming in. Kai Havertz should be the one coming off the bench. Kai Havertz should be the one supporting whoever the big man is coming in. It's all backwards. This is why we keep going. This is why we keep circling back over and over and over. This is when you look at that wage bill. This is the problem. This is it. It goes as right here, as Charles stated. All roads lead to 29. And they refuse to either A, address it, B, admit it, and 3, say, hey, it's peaked. This is why they were hoping that before he got injured, that he would have gotten them all past the PSG and Real Madrid. He was hoping that he took us past all that, and it didn't happen. And now we're back to the clean slate, start over another season in a situation where we've got 6 games immediately when the season starts, and he's got to hit the ground running. So this is why I said that when next season starts, it's going to be crazy. There's going to be pressure on the manager immediately. There's going to be pressure on Zubimendi immediately. There's going to be pressure on Kai Havertz immediately. And for anybody who needs a history lesson, let's go back to 22. I think it was 21, 22, or either 2021. 3 straight games out the gate. Bang, bang, bang. We were done. We were out of the title pitch before the end of the month. And this year, based off of the schedule, which we'll close out on that, is you'll see where there's going to be major problems in this club. Major problems. But when you're in situations where you can address those problems on a massive scale or a large area, you refuse to do it. And after the damage is done, this is when they say, well, I thought we should have. I felt like we should have done this. But you never said that the entire time. And instead, he goes to defending Kai Havertz again.
190K a week, right? Which means he can't now shift it. Whoever comes in is going to have to demand more than that, more money than that, right? And all the players we want to keep, the Sakas, Salibas, Gabriels, are all going to ask for mad money compared to that. And whatever striker we bring in, he has got to use Kai Havertz. He cannot leave him on the bench because he's 290 a week. Now, I've got no problem with him being a rotational piece, right? But is Kai Havertz what we need on our front line moving forward? I don't think so. You've just said yourself, I don't think that's what we want to be seeing. But that's what we're going to get now because this guy's put him on 290 a week and has made him the focal point at Arsenal.
But not if you go and get a better striker. The problem is that
but that's why I don't think we will. That's why I don't think he wants to.
No, but who are the better strikers out there, Dan, that are achievable? Like for me, when we said earlier on that we're not massively excited by these two, and I stick by that. I've been saying that throughout the summer. Neither of them are a sure thing for me, right?
Neither. See, they're so blinded by Kai Havertz that people are saying there's no alternative. Just deep that, everybody. There's no alternative to Kai Havertz in world football. There's no one that's out there better. You heard Canton, man. You heard Thomas. You heard Thomas say it. No striker except Isak. So Haaland's not in that question either. Haaland's not in there too, I read. Okay, cool, no problem. There's no striker in world football right now. If we had 500 million to spend, there's not one striker anywhere on the planet or attacking player that's better than Kai Havertz. This is what they're trying to put in people's head. They're trying to create the narrative that whoever we bring in is going to have to usurp to Kai Havertz because Kai Havertz is the mainstay in this team.
The only two that for me feel like a sure thing are Alexander Isak, who we're never going to get, and Julian Alvarez. Those are my two.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. Is there anyone else?
No.
Is it right? Exactly. So if you're looking at it and you're going, there isn't anywhere else, then there has to be a part of you that feels not sympathy, because that's the wrong word, but has an understanding for the situation that we're in.
I would add Osimhen and Gyökeres to that though.
Okay, so Gyökeres is one of them that we're supposed to be looking at, right? So fine. Osimhen, I'm not sure about Osimhen, but that's just my personal opinion. I understand why people
is he better than Havertz?
Looking at his, yeah, as an out-and-out 9, yeah. But I don't think it's about Havertz. Like, I don't know why people keep making him the issue. Instead of looking at the problem of Havertz, where the hell would we be without Havertz?
See? Havertz is the savior. That goes all the way back to that right there. That's it right there again. Right there. What is that? That's hope. Don't get your hope. I told you, he's a redistributor. That redistribution is just as bad as the main man selling it. Because it's going out. Where have y'all heard that? Where the hell would we be without 29? We've heard this time and time and time again. This is why I said that they over and over and over.
A better way of looking at it. And I'll explain why. Because go back to the season before last, right? Not the one that's just ended, the one prior, where we took the title race to the final day and we lost out. That second half of the season, Kai Havertz was unbelievable. You got to admit, he was a big asset to the team at that point. Now, it's all good saying, oh, we should have got someone else and Havertz is the problem. But we didn't get someone else. So take Havertz out of the equation there, we would have been up shit street. Where would we have been the first half of this season when we were playing really poorly at times? And at times, Havertz was helping us get through games. You know, after his injury, after his injury, should have shone a light on the fact that he might not be the end goal and the solution, but he's certainly more of an asset than he is a problem. Go on.
All right, so let me come back on a couple of things there, right, which I disagree with you on. Havertz, for me, is a good footballer. I've never said that he's a shambles of a player. I didn't think he was a disgraceful signing. The reason I thought he was Arteta's worst signing is not in terms of his lack of quality, because he's obviously better than the likes of Vieira, etc. It's because we've spent an unbelievable amount of money on him, and he is basically going to have to now either live or die on that sort. That this was of a now he can't drop him because he's admitting that he's got it wrong.
That is all. Everything Dan said is 100% right there. Everything that Brother Dan said is 100%. And that's what they cannot see. They refuse to look at that. Nobody's saying Kai Havertz is the worst possible player in the world. All we're saying is that you put a price tag on him when he's probably about a 18 to 20, $22 million player. And y'all are acting as if he's an 80 to $100 million player that's going to take this team to the next level. In that, if we even remotely think about getting a player that's probably better than him, we've completely lost the plot. That's what they're saying. So when Dan makes those kind of points, people think we're crazy. The fact is, the price tag does not equate the player. Now, if you buy a player and he's 20 million and turns out to be worth 85 million, that's a different discussion. But we paid 65 for a player that's probably about a 18 to $22 million player.
So he's going to have to now play him. If he doesn't play him up top, he's going to drop him back into bloody midfield, which is a disaster, as we've seen, right? Now, you say where would we be without him? He scored 14 goals the season before last, and he scored 9 last season. Last season, he got injured, funnily enough, by Mikel Arteta overplaying him again and telling him to run in training and an intensity training when he was bloody supposed to be recuperating in Dubai. Then he gets injured and his bloody hamstrings falling off of his bone. And we stick Mikel Merino up there. I thought we looked better with Merino up top. I genuinely thought Merino, who I thought was poor in midfield. Come on, Harry, we did. Against Real Madrid, Merino looked. I thought Merino was one of our better players against Real Madrid.
And see, Harry wants to make it look like Dan's crazy for saying what he said, but the facts are the facts. Mikel Merino was bought in. He was supposed to be defensive midfielder. Didn't work out, or it's not working out. And then if you actually want to throw this in there, it's the first year in the Premier League blues for him. Who knows? He might get together this year. But you go back to once again, that goes back to prove that point about first year blues in the Premier League. Comes in, doesn't work out. What happened? Manager does the same thing he did with Kai Havertz. Let's try him up top. Goes up top. He actually does a better output than Kai Havertz. I actually feel more confident with Merino in goal. He gets 5 shots on goal. One of them is probably going in. You give Havertz 5, man, you don't know what you're getting. So Dan's 100% correct. But the narrative, they want to create this narrative. They want to create this narrative that there's nobody that can do what Kai Havertz does. And they're going to stick with it. Once I told y'all, the hope dealing is immense. The hope dealing is immense. Distribution. Just remember, distribution.
Home and away. He was scoring as many. He's probably a better finisher than Havertz. This is how easy it is to replace Kai Havertz, Harry. This is what I'm saying to you. So when you say there's only Gyökeres and Sesko or Isak, or if it was you said Isak and Alvarez, that could be better options for us than what we've got in Havertz. I think it's crap. We can get so many better.
I didn't say that there's no better strikers in football outside of Isak and Alvarez than Kai Havertz. That's not what I said. What I said was that actually, instead of focusing on Havertz being a problem, because you're talking as if you've just said that you think he's a good footballer, but the reason he's a problem is because of the money. That is, Arteta has shown that he doesn't give a shit about that when it comes down to it. If he did, he wouldn't have convinced the club to pay off Aubameyang's contract. He wouldn't have done what he done to Mesut Ozil. If it was about money, if money was stopping Mikel Arteta from making tough decisions, then believe me, we wouldn't be where we are now. That's not where he's at. He doesn't wilt to that. He doesn't care. If he thinks that a player is bad and needs to go, he will make that ruthless decision. And I know it's a bit different because Havertz is someone that he personally brought in. But I could tell you 5 bigger problems that Arsenal had last season than Kai Havertz. And I have no idea why we keep going back to.
I just hate Dan didn't ask him what was the 5 problems. I was hoping that Dan would say, what's the 5 problems? Because I would ask him, Harry, what's the 5 problems? To call him out.
To this guy. And making him
He's a squad player, bruv. He's a squad player. He ain't good enough to start for Arsenal.
So go out and get a striker that's better and let him be that squad player. I've got no issue with that.
But we won't be doing that. We're going to go and get Sesko, and we're going to have Havertz up top, and Sesko's going to be molded into the side. That's why it needs to be a Gyökeres, an Isak, or an Alvarez for me. And it ain't going to be that, bruv. We're going to go and get this Sesko guy, and we're going to let him mold into the team through Havertz, who we know is not going to win us a Premier League title. This is my big problem with Arsenal.
Okay, so what happens if we bring Gyökeres in and then Havertz still play some games up front?
Fine by me if he's playing some games in a rotational piece, but Havertz is the rotational piece, not Sesko the rotational piece, or Gyökeres the rotational piece. Gyökeres has got to start if he plays, right? If we sign him, sorry. We can't be bringing in Gyökeres and still playing Havertz. And one thing we definitely can't do, bruv, is put this bloody guy back in midfield. Because if I see this guy playing in midfield any more time, I'm going to lose my head. Because this was a guy who was brought in to replace Granit Xhaka, by the way, that people have forgotten about. Yeah. And funny enough, the other guy that's supposed to upgrade Granit Xhaka in Marino was our striker last year as well. So we've still got much more money we're going to do to spend on this Xhaka report point, which me and you for about 7 years we were arguing about.
See, remember what I told y'all? Remember I told y'all about defensive midfielder replacement early in the show, and I was talking about that. Dan just hit the nail on the hammer. Hit the hammer on the nail, excuse me. Is that for years we didn't have a defensive midfielder. So then we get Party in. And mind you, when this was recorded, this Party was still in the club at this time. So that's completely changed. This club is upside down. The team is upside down right now. And what has happened is the second place finishes have masks. Hold on. Shout out to this brother here. Rest his soul. Where is it at? Did I put it in here? Please tell me I put it in here. Here we go.
There are cracks, and the cracks are still there. And you all ignored me. I will say it when we win as well. The cracks are still there.
The cracks are still there. Rest in peace, Claude. 3 second place finishes. The cracks are still there. One more time. When you come off the high, when you come off of that high, the same problems are still there. 3 second place finishes. 3. We're still having the same discussions that we've been having for the last 3 or 4 years. We're still having the same discussions that we've been having the same 3, 4 years. And even that. Too many people in this fan base want to try to explain their way out of everything. They want to be loved. They want to be liked. The problem here is this football club is not being held accountable. That's what the root problem of all of this is. And it's that the more time we waste not addressing major issues in this team and recycling those issues, it's more time being lost. There's no way that you can tell me over the last several years that we've been dealing with this whole Arteta issue is that you can tell me that we should not have been much better than what we are. People love to go back and they talk about those numbers. Let me bring this up here and I'll bring up two more things and we'll get ready to start rounding it off. But if I can find there it is right here. Shout out to Aaron. Let me see here. Shout out to brother Aaron. Talks Arsenal here. If you hadn't, go subscribe to him. But you start looking at these wages. These wages. Some of this has changed since we had done a little bit of business. But these wages. And these wages are coming back to bite us. It hurts. Jesus. Shout out to Normski if you're in the chat, Normski. I was talking to Normski late last night. And I told him, I said, think about this. This brother here, we'll zoom in on it. Right there. This brother here is literally going to coast out of the football club making £100,000, $100K a week. He's coasting. Hadn't played but 6 minutes of Premier League football since last year. And he's literally coming back. When he comes back next year, he's got 1 year left. And he's out of here. And you see these numbers. And the brother stated by selling. I just look at this. You combine that we're already bad with selling players. And then you look at the assets. What's there to sell? Tell you what's there to sell. And people are going to like this. Him. And if it gets really bad enough, right there. We're getting ready to go down to we're going through a dark path if we don't get something done this year. And I fear for this football club if we don't win something serious this year. Because players' contracts are starting to wind down. A lot of people are going to be on 2-year deals starting next season. Values are dropping. And it's a mess. And I know there's frustration. You know, we talked about it yesterday on yesterday's channel with Northside. There's frustration with Berta. Berta's coming in. And he's basically walking into a certified shit show. I mean, it's just like if you leave 2, 3, 4 year olds with a dog at the house, you know it's chaos when you come home. Shit in the living room, crayon on the wall. It's a complete mess. And I'm gonna tell you something. And a lot of people have to have to deal with this reality. The reality of this is a lot of this is not going to change until the manager is removed from this football club. Because the manager's on $15 million a year. The manager is one of the sole reasons outside of this fan base of why we are where we are. And until the fan base decides to turn and say, you know what? Enough is enough. Y'all saw Egal earlier. That was the real Egal that y'all showed y'all. When he was pissed off when we was in 20. That was the real Egal. That was Egal that was the way all of us was feeling back then. Then he stole it. He snuck an FA Cup, and then that changed everything. If we'd have lost the FA Cup, we probably wouldn't have Arteta. And now you see all of this. This is why I said we're in a complete mess. And this is why I went, all these people that are in and they've got massive followings and stuff like that. they're in positions to where they can be innovators of change. But instead, they do this. They go out and they redistribute the hope. He provides it, they redistribute it. We're going into next season. Preseason starts very soon. Preseason is right on the horizon, y'all. Do y'all realize how close we are to preseason? It's crazy. It's actually crazy how close we are to preseason. Close out some of these windows here. So we're right here at the end.
Yeah.
We'll take that out. Sorry about that, y'all. Bring this up here. Here we go. Just look at these pictures. Y'all see this? July 23rd. 21 days away. Look at this. Let me tell y'all something. I mentioned this last year. If we don't have a striker in this team right here, we're in major trouble. Sign the alarm. This is what you need to be hearing. If we don't have a striker in there right then, you need to be hearing this. You need to be hearing all kinds of noises, bells, alarms. This is the one I meant to hit, y'all. That's the one I meant to hit. That's what you need to be hearing. If we don't have a striker by that period, then we need to be signing off the alarm. Because when we go into the season next year, they gotta hit the ground running. United, leagues, Champions League. Get ready for the draw. Carabao Cup. We've got the whatchamacallit here somewhere. We've got the Emirates Cup in there. Yeah, we got the Emirates Cup. That's coming up. We play Emirates Cup. That's going on this year. Then you got Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Champions League match day 1, City, Carabao Cup right behind that. Newcastle, match day 2 of the Champions League. West Ham, that's not a gimme. We don't have any time for error this year. So we have to have all our ducks in a row. Everything has to be laid out and prepared and ready to go. Because if we don't have everything done this year and we're trying to scramble, we're trying to make signings right here. If we're trying to scramble right here and trying to make a signing, we're in trouble. Everything needs to be done by the 23rd of July. And this is why I said there's going to be no room for this manager to hide next year. Because if you look at the fixtures, and I'm telling you, everybody go to have a chance, go look at the fixtures and just look. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. There's no easy game. There's no gimmies. And this is me personally talking, I just don't see City having the fall off that they had last year at all. Do I think they'll win every game like they've done in the past? Nah, I doubt it. I don't even think Liverpool. I just don't think they're going to have the fall off. And I think there are going to be several teams that are going to find their way into competing. And I think what has happened is our fan base has completely dismissed everybody else. I've seen people talking about Newcastle having a bad year because they hadn't got anybody. No, a lot of people are just waiting to get that stuff done right before preseason. And some of these people were signed for the Club World Cup. But City would definitely be in the picture. Liverpool will be in the picture. I said it earlier. People don't want to hear it. People don't want to believe it. Manchester United is not going to just flail all the way down there again like that. That was a once in a lifetime. That was it. Spurs, that was it. Both of those teams realized how lucky they were that the 3 teams that came up were garbage. And if we had some decent teams, we have a whole different discussion. We have a whole different league. But they got lucky. And they realize that. You think Saeed's going to be out there talking about he's in the car park all year like that again? No way. You think Ransom's going to put up with that? No way. It's going to be rough this year. And if we're doing addition by subtraction again, like we've done the last couple of seasons, it's going to be more the same. We're going to find ourselves in a situation this year where we're going to be lacking players once again. Can this player play here? Moving players over there, doing this. 5 losses this year, you can hang it up. I can tell you that now. We dropped 5 games this year, you can hang it up. It's done. This season's going to be a gauntlet. And the reality of the situation is, as it stands right now, we're not prepared. We're not prepared. I think there's going to be a lot of chances this year to where if we can get 1 or 2, get on the, this is one thing that we didn't do last year that it's imperative we do this year. We've got to find a way to win 9 games in a row. I'm talking, we got to go on a massive run. And looking at the schedule, I just don't see where it's coming from. And TJ, you're 100% correct there. When City's team finally gets it together, and this is a classic, what you're seeing is a classic case of this might be one of those things where as the season goes on, it gets better and better because they start getting used to each other. But we'll see. We shall see. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you all. We had upwards almost 240 in the chat. Record numbers today on an early stream for me. Really appreciate it, man. Hope that you all enjoyed the content. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to probably be doing a few shows here or there, but I'm going to probably take a little bit of a break after this. I needed to detox from Arsenal for a little bit. So I might come on a couple of streams here or there, but I'm probably going to take me a nice little break here and enjoy my summer before we get ready for preseason. And I'm here to tell you all, don't be out in these streets getting some of that hope. Do not, say no to hope. Down with nope. Nope to the hope. Nope to the hope. And let me see who is live right now. Who is live right now that we can redirect to? Let's go see here. Let's see who can redirect to. Who's live, everybody? Who's live right now that we can redirect to? Let's see. Let me see. Let me go to who is live. Let me go. Who is live, everybody? Who we got live that we can go to? Anybody live? Let's do this here. Let's go. Redirect. Let's see who we got live. Oh, Diluted. Brother Diluted is live. All right. Let's send some folks over there to Brother Diluted. Or is Lee getting ready to go live? Hold on, let me see. Is Lee getting ready to go live right now? Is Brother Lee getting ready to go live? No, he's going live. All right, we're going over to Diluted. Look here, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. As I said, say no to hope. Don't be out in these streets redistributing that mess. If you have a problem, please get help. Much love to everybody. Enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day. Much love. And let me get this set up right quick. Make sure we good. And I think we are good to go. We should be getting ready to redirect over here to Brother Diluted. When we redirect, what we want to say. What we want to say, chat. We'll just do Matty Raid. We'll do that. Matty Raid. We'll do that. All right. We are out. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a great day. Peace.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Southern Gooner here on YouTube.